Okay, we are live. We are live. Mic check, 1, 2. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well, man. Just a quick one. Got nothing better to do, so why not fire up a quick live stream? Why the fuck not? But yeah, we've got a few fights this weekend to look out for. Luis Nery versus Brandon Figueroa. That fight goes down this weekend. Should be a pretty fun fight. I'd imagine Luis Nery is going to have a bit too much. He's a bit too busy, the more powerful guy. But I expect that fight to be a bit of a war, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to that fight. That's really the main fight of the weekend. And obviously the weekend after, we have Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez. So yeah, there's some good fights coming up to look forward to, no doubt about it. And definitely looking forward to Taylor Ramirez. But what I've noticed is online, there seems to be no hype whatsoever for Taylor Ramirez. That's how I'm reading it anyway. There doesn't seem to be any hype whatsoever. There's no main UK TV coverage for this fight. It's on Fight TV. So no main TV channels picking it up, it's definitely a shame. Definitely a shame. Big up to Bump of K in the building. Shepherd of Sons. Big up to Franco as well. Hunter versus Hrgovic situation, your opinion? Yeah, I made a video on this. I mean, Michael Hunter, in the last couple of years, he's done all of the right things. He said all of the right things. But basically, this past week, he's basically undone all of that with this bullshit decision. I mean, he's ducked Hrgovic to fight Mike Wilson. That says it all, really. I mean, if Hunter's so desperate to fight for a heavyweight title, fight Hrgovic in an eliminator. And if you back yourself, you win that fight and you get a heavyweight title shot with big money. But obviously, Michael Hunter didn't believe in himself. So I'm very disappointed, Franco, quite frankly. I'm disappointed in Michael Hunter. I expected a lot better. Because like I said, he was doing some good things. He was fighting guys on short notice, taking risks. I expected him to take a fight. I really did. But, he's made his decision and we'll see how it pans out. But very disappointed in Michael Hunter. Because I like I said, I thought that fight was going to happen. I was pretty convinced. But yeah, Michael Hunter, man, disappoints us all. Yes, big up Jed Kyle in the building. Yeah, exactly, Franco, man. It would have been a really good fight, a real good test for Hrgovic and a good fight for Hunter. But Michael Hunter, man, he's really undone his reputation with this move. He really has. But yeah, big up to Jed Kyle. Salute to you, bro. Big up to Nez Mendoza. Yeah, he looked like a real fighting man. Exactly, Franco. That's what I thought as well. No nonsense. He'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's what he was preaching, and that's what he was doing for a little while. But yeah, we can't excuse this duck. We can't excuse it. There's no excuse for it, man. I could understand if Hunter was fighting someone like Wilder or Andy Ruiz or Dillian White next. I could understand it then. That's fair enough. But to duck Hrgovic in a world title eliminator to fight Mike Wilson, whoever the fuck he is, it's a bad move. It really is. It's a bad move. Yeah, definitely, Michael Van Gerwen. I'll definitely be watching that fight. I want to see what Chris Lovejoy's all about. We'll see what he's all about. Should be fun. Sorry about that. But yeah, sorry about that. I was getting something. But yeah, I agree, Jed Kyle. I was surprised as well. I thought Michael Hunter would have gone through with it. I just don't understand what the reasoning is. He said the offer was a low ball. Well, first and foremost, it was a purse bid, so it is what it is. And if you back yourself and you win that fight, you get a title shot, a heavyweight title shot. That's big money. So yeah, maybe this fight wasn't the greatest paid in the world, but if you beat Hrgovic, then you get a massive title shot. So there's no excuse for Michael Hunter, man, especially how he's conducted himself previously. No worries, Nez, man. Hunter's another guy who talks a good game, but lets everyone down. Yep, a lot of fighters are like that. Yeah, breaking news. AJ and Fury have agreed to agree terms when the terms are agreeable. Yeah, exactly. That's how it feels right now, AA Boxing and Blunts. I mean, I've heard people report that this fight's been agreed like 7 million times. So until it's officially done, at this point, I'm not really going to get too involved. It's becoming a bit frustrating, to be honest, the whole Joshua Fury thing. Just get it done, man. Get it done. Yes, big up to Nordic. I liked your bag work, by the way, Nordic, man. Got some good hand speed, bro. Some nice hand speed. Big up Sean Fowler. I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing really good. Really good. Well, as good as you can do on a Wednesday when I've been fucking working. I'm doing okay. Doing okay. We're in the midst of taking over the true crime genre. Now that's Figueroa's sister. Figueroa's fighting this weekend, Sean. So I thought I'd honor the Figueroa family by putting her on. Yeah, Nordic's got some decent hands, man. He can handle himself, no doubt about it. Do you think Hunter versus Ruiz final eliminator for WBA could be in the works on pay-per-view? Maybe, AA. Maybe. See, if he took that fight, I wouldn't really have a problem with it, to be honest. That's fair enough, but right now it's not looking great for Michael Hunter. No worries, bro. Got some moves, Nordic. Loved the throat punch, double-handed, and the elbows. My favourite shots. Big up to Naril. Salute to Naril. Did Hunter even ever reach a bigger payday than he would have got versus Hrgovic? I mean, $300,000. Yeah, exactly, Franco. It's not exactly bad money, is it? It's not exactly bad money. I'd assume he got paid quite well to fight Povetkin on the Joshua Ruiz undercard, but it'd be one of his best paydays. Yeah, Hunter's fighting on the Triller cards, yeah, against Mike Wilson, who got taken apart by Denis Lebedev a couple of years ago. The man who belches, I like that name, but I'm not sure what you're saying there in the comment. Andre Ward taught me. Yeah, Nordic's got a nice jab, good quick hands, nice and compact, puts his shots together well. Vicious body puncher. It's crazy how quickly Michael Hunter went from a guy who fights anybody anywhere to Diva Coward laugh out loud. Yeah, it's a shame, Nordic, because he was actually doing all the right things. He was saying the right things. But, you know, he got cold feet, man. He got cold feet. Evening Dell, I'm thinking of watching less boxing now. Like everything else, it's driven by money. Yeah, 100%. 100%, Adam. I'm looking forward to Taylor Ramirez. That's going to be a great fight. But again, is it me, yeah? Or is there no buzz whatsoever for that fight? There seems to be no buzz whatsoever for it. It's a great fight, man. It's a great fight. It's not on a main TV channel in the UK. That's an absolute disgrace, to be honest. It's an undisputed title fight with a British fighter involved. I mean, absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned. Nordic has better skills than Canelo, just not the Canelo opponent contracts. Nordic's definitely got a future in white collar. Oh, 100%. I feel like Taylor beat. I'm not sure. Beat who? I'm not sure what you're saying, bruv. Create an undercard for AJ versus Fury. What fights would you make? Good question. Fury versus Joshua undercard. I mean, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think they'll actually be quite tight with the undercard. I don't think you'll see many great fights on there. Maybe something like Fowler versus Fowler Cheeseman, fucking Chisora versus the big Chinese heavyweight, something like that. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't really care about the undercard, man. I've got to be honest. All I want right now is that fight to be signed. We just need that fight to be signed. I reckon Taylor might get upset by Ramirez. Listen, I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest, a bump of K. Ramirez is a very good fighter, great gas tank, continuous pressure, solid power. He's got good fundamentals, nice and compact, good punch technique. Ramirez is a good fighter, bro. I wouldn't be shocked if Taylor loses. Again, I'm picking Taylor, but I'm not as confident as a lot of people are. Yeah, Hrgović versus Charles Martin. No, actually, Charles Martin apparently has already turned that fight down. So it's not going to be Charles Martin. It's not going to be Michael Hunter. It could be Joseph Parker. If we're going by the IBF rankings, it could be Joseph Parker. I feel like Taylor lost to Prograis and Postal, but he'll beat Ramirez. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I felt he clearly beat Postal, to be honest, but the Prograis fight could have gone either way. Could have gone either way. If I get 10,000 subs, I might be cringy and do a call-out video. Call out Jake Paul. No, I'll give it a miss, Michael Van Gerwen. I'm watching Figueroa versus Neary. That's what I'll watch this weekend. Will Josh Taylor lay down for the Mexican in Texas? Who knows, man? Hopefully not. I think he'll go in there and give it his all. I think he'll win, to be honest. Hunter, though, would easily redeem himself if he fought Ruiz or someone like that, and that would be a winnable fight, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree, Franco. See, if he fights someone like Ruiz, Wilder, White, fair enough. That's fair enough, yeah? But when you're turning down a Hrgović eliminator to fight Mike Wilson, it's not a great look. Yeah, call out Jake Paul, yeah. Yeah, Taylor Ramirez, absolute fire. Do you mean Esquiva Falcao, Brandon, the silver medalist? Yeah, listen, with Esquiva Falcao, I've not really done my due diligence. I've not really seen too much of him, to be honest with you guys. I've seen a few highlights here and there. I watched his fight with Artur Akavov, but I need to see more. But he looks technically sound. He does the basics well. He seems a decent fighter. What's up with the Anglos giving zero spotlight to the Scotsman? It could be that, you know. It could be that, Danilo. See, I've got it all kind of fucked up. Everyone calls me a British fighter hater, but I hate British fighters. And Josh Taylor's my favourite British fighter, a Scotsman. So, there you go. Yeah, Triller could have got Hunter versus Hrgović for 670k. Hunter will be fighting for pennies on that undercard, yeah. No worries, Dale, man. No worries. It happens, man. It happens to me all the time. Feel like there were signs of something being up with Hunter when he split with Hearn. Like Hearn has tons of decent fights for him. What happened there? Yeah, apparently Eddie just didn't really see Michael Hunter as worth keeping. So I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. But basically, Eddie was kind of insinuating that he's just got too many fighters, too many dates to fill. Too many fighters, but not enough dates, kind of thing. So he let go of Michael Hunter. Campbell Hatton will be on the AJ undercard. Yep, 100%. Yeah, it's weird how little promotion that fight has. It's a full-belt undisputed fight. Yeah, even in America, I don't really hear many people talking about it, Nordic. Same as the UK. Such a shame, man. Yeah, Haydar, I'll watch the Boatsi card. I'll watch it. Yeah, seems Josh Taylor isn't much of a moneymaker for UK broadcasters. It's a shame, because he's a great fighter to watch. Every single one of his fights have been pretty fun, so it's a shame. Wilder would knock out Ruiz in 4 rounds. I wouldn't be shocked, Jazz, especially after that last fight with Chris Arreola. Ruiz looked rather hittable, and he was getting hurt more than I'd like to see. So if Wilder comes back and he's mentally in the right place, he could definitely knock out Ruiz. Yeah, Campbell Hatton needs a bit of everything, Nordic. He needs a jab. He needs some defense. He needs to turn over on his punches. He's a bit of a slapper. Campbell needs a lot of work, in my opinion. A lot of work. Yeah, I like Hunter, but that's a piss poor move. I can't defend that. I'm the same, bro. Big up Dell. Doesn't Taylor have a deal with BT? Well, I think how it works, crazy, with so Taylor's got a deal with Top Rank, and BT have first refusal on Top Rank shows, from what I understand. That's what I've heard. So yeah, they don't have a TV deal with him, but they could have they could have got this fight. They could have got this fight. Has Taylor versus Ramirez even got fans at the event? I know it's going to be free to watch, so they won't be pushing it to casuals as Costa will do with no as the Costa will do with no return. Yeah, exactly. But from what I understand, there's going to be a small audience. That's it, a small audience, whatever that means. Do you think Usyk beats AJ? I would slightly favour Usyk in that fight. Usyk's definitely got a good chance if he doesn't get clipped early on. You could see Usyk kind of chipping away, working the body and maybe gassing out Joshua late on. But it's a hard fight for Usyk. I see it as to be honest, I see it as like a 50-50. Zurdo Ramirez fighting Sullivan Barrera and Jojo Diaz fighting Javier Fortuna in July. Yeah, Fortuna versus Diaz is a good fight. Sullivan Barrera was a good fighter, but past his best now. Zurdo needs to be doing a lot better. Yeah, I never even knew he retired, Haydar, Jamie McDonnell. Good fighter, though. He earned a bit of money. Former world champion. He had a good career. For his level of talent, I think he overachieved. Parker next in line for Hrgovic, but I bet he'll duck too. Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. Because Hrgovic right now is he's a dangerous fighter. He's young, he's fresh, he's unbeaten, but he doesn't really have a fan base. He doesn't bring that money, so you could be right. I know AJ Fury talk is boring, but I really feel like Fury's going to get KO'd. He's not as elusive as he used to be. I believe his punch resistance is worse than you think, and I think he's going to be aggressive. You could be right, bro. I think if Tyson approaches that fight aggressively from the very first bell, there's a very good chance he gets knocked out, because Joshua is much more offensively gifted than Deontay Wilder. He's got far more tools in his toolbox in comparison to Wilder. He's a good combination puncher. He's dangerous at mid-range. He's got the uppercuts, the chopping overhand right, the left hook. There's so much more coming back with Joshua that Tyson needs to be aware of if he applies pressure. I think Tyson needs to box. He needs to make Joshua draw the lead and make Joshua chase the fight. And maybe late on, as Joshua starts to tire, that's when Tyson Fury really, in my opinion, should apply pressure. But I think Tyson being aggressive from the first bell could be a recipe for disaster, to be honest. And by the way, lads, if you could smash the like, be much appreciated. Be much appreciated. Does Barry McGuigan still have enough pull with BT and Sky to get Taylor ignored like this? I doubt it, the man who belches. I doubt it. I think, like a previous commenter said, Josh Taylor's not really a needle mover. He doesn't really draw great numbers in the UK in terms of TV viewing figures. So I think that's what it is. Big up to official scorecard boxing science. Salute to you, sir. I thought Hunter turned down Hrgovic because of drug testing, but since he's fighting so soon, then it's an obvious duck. Yeah, exactly, Nuril. Exactly. Well, I heard a rumor, Brandon, that Hunter was going to go with Top Rank, but that's not been confirmed. Not sure how true it is, but that's the rumor I've heard. Is Buatsi a top 5 British light heavyweight at the moment? I'm not sure. Yeah, he's definitely top 5. I think Callum Johnson number 1, Lyndon Arthur number 2, and after that it's kind of take your pick kind of thing. Why is Josh Taylor not more popular in the UK? He's probably the best pound for pound. I agree, Max. He's my favourite fighter in the UK, and I think he is the best pound for pound. But yeah, his profile over here is just not what it should be, especially considering he's got a great style to watch. He's all action. He's aggressive. He's got a great TV style. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, Campbell needs a lot of everything, Hader. Yeah, in the UK, the fans fetishizes Sky Sports fighters. They seem to think that makes them better. Yeah, I agree, Bump of K. Yeah, I guess the reason the Taylor fight isn't getting any promotion is the money thing again. They don't see it making big numbers, so it's not worth it. It's a shame, man. Such a shame. See, if I wanted to get people into boxing, yeah, and there was a fight coming up that I'd get them to watch, it's that fight. It's going to be violence. It's going to be a great fight. Ramirez versus Taylor is being promoted by an out-of-touch dinosaur. Could be that as well. It could be that as well. Bob Arum these days is like he's approached that stage where he just doesn't give a fuck, to be honest. And yeah, it might be that. It might be that. I'll tell you what, as much as it pains me to say it, Josh Taylor more than likely would be a lot better off with Eddie Hearn. Because say what you want about Eddie Hearn, but he gets his guys out there. I think we can agree that. We can agree with that. I want to see Michael Polite Coffee versus Carlos Takam next. Good fight. I'd watch it. Big step up though, Adair. Big step up. Taylor is a quality fighter, but not huge here in the UK. He's not with Matchroom and has never had the machine behind him. I guess it's because he's Scottish. It might be that, Nathan. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, Haydar. I thought BT would pick it up. Or maybe even Channel 5 would pick it up. But nobody has. I think the fighters with the best chance versus Canelo in order are Beterbiev, 2 Andrade, 3 Yard, 4 Bivol, 5 Buatsi, 6 Edgar Berlanga. Are you being serious with Anthony Yard, Jazz, or you're trolling? But I agree, Beterbiev number 1. I would say Bivol number 2. And I would say Benavidez number 3. That's what I'd say. Yeah, McDonnell was a decent fighter. Big up to the Boxing Lounge. Salute to Boxing Lounge. Can Joe Parker just retire now? Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. Bump of K. He's been fucking sleepwalking for 2-3 years now, Joseph Parker. Ever since the Dillian White fight, he's done fuck all. Josh Taylor's my favourite UK fighter. Me too, man. Easily my favourite UK fighter. Easily. Fury said on Hearn's podcast that he'll knock Joshua down with a check hook. That suggests Fury is going to be on the back foot. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Kash Farouk is fun to watch. He's a very fun fighter to watch. A lot of aggression, good body work. The problem with Kash Farouk, I think he's got a lot of ability, a lot of slick skills on the inside, but he doesn't have that one-punch power. If he had some crazy power, that kid he'd be a force. He'd be a world champion, Kash Farouk, if he had real world-class power. But I think that's what's going to let him down. But I think he's got a lot of ability. Fighter with the worst chance against Canelo is Zach Parker. BT hype job. There's nothing there. I agree. I'm not a big fan of Zach Parker. Zach Parker's a good domestic fighter. He's a good domestic fighter. Yeah, I heard about this, Haydar. I mean, Triller right now seems to be getting good traction. It might work out. I mean, it's a perfect time for Oscar De La Hoya, really. I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, to be fair, he's not that hyped. I don't rate Zach Parker that highly, though. Big up to Duck. Salute to Duck. Heard a rumour Jose Benavidez is going to PBC. Would either be a good step up for Boots or a tune-up for Furman. Yeah, Jose Benavidez hasn't fought since Terence Crawford. He's been out of action for a long time. Yep. One fight with BT, Zach Parker. Yeah, you're right. Zach Parker versus Canelo at Derby County. Josh left Eddie. Do you mean Josh Taylor? He was with McGuigan. Big up to Nez. Salute to Nez Mendoza. Duck says 1 Callum Johnson, 2 Lyndon Arthur, 3 Craig Richards, 4 Joshua Buatsi, 5 Anthony Yard. I think that's fair. Duck. Any thoughts on these IFL pro bono defence lawyers excusing Billy Joe Saunders? Why don't they remind Billy Joe Saunders that when he was lying in his bed doing interviews with Michelle Joy Phelps and Coogan, he should have been training? Yeah, it's a good shout, Anthony. It's a good shout. My thing with that is, look at how IFL reported on Daniel Dubois taking the knee and quitting. They basically threw him under the bus. They had fucking Joe Joyce's mum on there giving her say. They had all of these fighters slating him as a quitter. Yeah, that's fine. But with Billy Joe Saunders, yeah, it's all this fucking damage control and shit. It's a complete disgrace. And even Peter Fury went in on fucking Dubois, whereas Billy Joe Saunders, he done the right thing. Come on, man. Come on. Taylor needs to move to welterweight to get better mainstream attention. Yeah, that could help, actually, XMB. That could definitely help. More of a glamour division. Obviously, there's guys like Crawford available. So, yeah, welterweight, maybe he gets more notoriety in the welterweight division. What's next for Willie Hutchinson? How far can he go? To tell you the truth, E-Machines, I've never really rated him. He's one of those guys who I describe as more style than substance. To be honest, I don't really envisage him going above domestic level. I really don't. I would say Craig Richards and Anthony Yard are more proven than Buatsi. I'd put Buatsi on the level with Willie Hutchinson. I wouldn't go that far, man. I wouldn't go that far. But he's got a lot of work to do. What's stopping Josh Taylor joining Eddie Hearn? He signed with Top Rank. That's the reason, man. Yeah, I agree. I think Hearn would be good for Taylor. I really do. Because Taylor's not one of those guys he's not exactly going to sell fights. He's he's not one of those most braggadocious guys out there. He's not really going to sell fights like that. So he needs a hype man promoter, Josh Taylor. And that's exactly what Eddie is. Yeah, good fight, Android. I'd watch it. Parker, for better or worse, is a big step up for Filip Hrgović. Former heavyweight champion, of course. It'll be an interesting fight. I would favour Hrgović, to be honest, but it's a good step up. It's a good step up. Yeah, that's true, the man who belches. That's true. The cruiserweight Hunter is facing is now ranked number 12 with the WBA, and apparently the fight is an eliminator. Hunter's definitely taking the easier option, but it could pay off for him. Yeah, maybe. I remember Mike Wilson from getting destroyed by Denis Lebedev a couple of years ago. Yeah, if Josh Taylor was English, he'd be a UK megastar. I agree. He'll definitely be more well known. Put it that way. Better Taylor being with Top Rank, though. They've got better options at 140 and 147. If he signed to Matchroom, he'd have fought Ritson. Yeah, exactly. That's true as well. But Matchroom and Top Rank have worked together, so I still think they could have made that Ramirez fight, even if he signed with what's his face, Hearn. Nah, Canelo's too skilled, man. Yeah, Yard's bigger, he's stronger, but Canelo is too skilled for fucking Anthony Yard. Sorry, is Taylor Ramirez accurate sign of where the sport is at right now? It's one of the best scheduled fights of the year, quality-wise, and nobody seems to care. Yeah, you're probably right, bro. You could be right. What do you think of Alexander Kuzniak being 25 and still not turning pro? Could be a wasted potential. Yeah, he's got a pro style, Alexander Kuzniak, the Ukrainian amateur. He's definitely got a pro style at Danilo. Hopefully, maybe I think he'll make his decision after 2021, once the Olympics happens. I think that's when he'll make his decision. Being serious, Del, Yard is awful versus tall jabbers, but imagine him and Nello firing body shots versus each other. Nah, come on, man. No way. No, Price definitely hasn't retired. He's still knocking about, waiting for a big fight. He'll get a big fight soon. There's no doubt about it. Vaughan Alexander took a dive versus Zach Parker, in my opinion. I think it looked like he got caught behind the head to me, and he never recovered, kind of thing. I heard Ryan Garcia is going to fight Rolly Romero in July. I've been hearing this rumor as well, Boxing Learner. And if that is the case, if he's pulled out of Fortuna to fight fucking Romero in the same month, I think we've got to call that a duck, to be honest. We've got to call that a duck. There's no way Rolly Romero is more credible than Javier Fortuna. No way. So if that's the case, that's a duck. Yeah, I want to see Yard attempt his shoulder roll versus Canelo's combinations. Exactly, he'll get fucked up. Yeah, in my opinion, Frank Warren doesn't have no American fighter except for the top-ranked fighters. Hasn't put on a card this month, yeah. What do you think of the Joseph Diaz versus Fortuna fight? Confirmed today. I think Fortuna beats Diaz. Too tough, awkward and big as well. Yeah, I think Diaz might be biting off more than he can chew. It kind of appears that Diaz has eaten himself into 135. I think he's got better skills than Fortuna. But like you said, the roughness, the size, and the aggression of Fortuna might be a bit too much. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight. Yeah, I agree, Haydar. Did you see Dillian's comment about Fury watching Billy Joe's dad getting roughed up by security? Yeah, I did see that. He was saying that Tyson was a coward for not stepping in. Can't really argue, man. Coogan has been exposed hard. I expect he'll be out of the scene in the next year or so. Now, he'll stick around, Bump of K. He'll stick around. Did you see Coogan coming out saying he's not a journo and shouldn't be held to the same standards? He's the biggest channel in the sport, and the way he's allowed to, and the way he allowed his channel to be used for a coordinated attack by Matchroom after Dubois. I totally agree. Ruben Guerrero. I totally agree. What is he then? He's an interviewer, yeah? I mean, the guy's an idiot, Coogan Cassius. I mean, the level of coverage between Dubois and Billy Joe Saunders, it's night and day. Like even the same people being interviewed, like Peter Fury slated Dubois, whereas Billy Joe Saunders, not so much, man. It's crazy. Why don't they have Chris Eubank Jr. on there giving his take? Yeah, IFL true colours have been shown. Yeah, they're bought and paid for, IFL. They go where the views are, where the money is, kind of thing. Spencer Theron said, shut your mouth to the Billy Joe Saunders critics, but slandered Dubois to bits. What a prick. Yep. Hrgovic knocks Parker out for me. I think he'll outpoint Joseph Parker, Luke. I think Hrgovic beats him on points, a bit too active kind of thing. One thing for Joseph Parker, we can criticize his fighting style, his lack of ambition, but Joseph Parker has a good chin. I'll say that much. So I'll take Hrgovic on points. Yeah, Top Rank seems to be good at finding talent, but not so good at keeping talent. Yeah, and promoting them as well. Yeah, Coogan's excuse for all of the quit videos for Dubois was he was just reporting on the fight as a journalist. Now for Billy Joe Saunders, he's not a journo and has told everyone he's not going to pile on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Ruben. Hearn would do nothing for Taylor because English fans would never spend their money on Taylor. Taylor stands more of a chance of earning good money in the US versus UK. You could be right, James Patterson. You could be right, to be honest. There is that element there, unfortunately. Like for me, Josh Taylor's my favourite fighter in the UK. One of my favourite fighters in the world, to be honest. So I'm going to buy his fight on Fight TV. I'm going to support it. I don't usually buy pay-per-views. I'm tight as fuck, to tell you the truth, but I'll buy that pay-per-view. It's definitely worth supporting. Hrgovic is the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. Yeah, Charles Martin ducked him. Michael Hunter's ducked him. We'll see about Joseph Parker. Figueroa's sister looks too much like Figueroa for me. Fully supporting Figueroa against Nerivo. Let's go. Yeah, that's going to be a good fight, Vader. That's going to be a good fight. See, I like a bit of Figueroa's sister. She looks nice, man. I think she looks okay, man. What WBA belt is that? Is it for the WBA Plastic Toys R Us version? Hunters are cowards. Yeah, it is. I think it's for the WBA regular belt because from what I understand, the WBA Super Champion doesn't have mandatories. from what I understand. At least it used to be that way. So yeah, he's fighting to be mandatory for Trevor Bryan, basically. Yeah, it's a bit low key for Taylor versus Ramirez. Taylor is one of the best fighters out of the UK. 100% Smoking Joe. Maybe on fight week there'll be a bit more hype. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. Yeah, and it makes me physically sick how Katie Taylor is more well known than Josh Taylor. I agree. Matchroom announcing a new signing and are having an unveiling event tomorrow. Any guesses who it could be? I'm not sure, to be honest, Haydar. I've got no idea. No idea whatsoever. Oh, big up to Stephen Schneider, by the way, for the contribution. Salute to Stephen. Much appreciated, bro. Always helps the channel out, man. So big up to Stephen Schneider, part of the BDA family, man. Salute to Stephen, man. Big up. Every single time, man. Salute. The Bridgerweight division's a bad idea for boxing. Should be cancelled. Yeah, listen, man. I don't really care for it, to be honest. But at the same time, if there's a good fight in that division, I'll watch it. So I guess I'm a hypocrite in regards to that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Will the other sanctioning bodies follow through? I'm not so sure. Big up to the boogeyman. Don't know how IFL got away with being sponsored by that management company for so long. Yeah, Coogan getting that drug money. He could be on one of my cartel videos soon on the second channel. Who knows? Who knows? Thoughts on Usyk versus Joyce? Very good fight. Very good fight. If Joshua Fury happens, it looks like Joyce versus Usyk's going to happen. So yeah, I like the fight. I think it's a very hard fight for Usyk. Obviously, with the size of Joe Joyce. And not the size, it's how he applies himself. He makes the most of that weight advantage, and he gets on top of you. He can apply pressure. He can use the jab. You know, he's a versatile fighter, Joe Joyce. I think he'll give Usyk a real hard fight. It's a real dangerous fight for Usyk. Real dangerous fight. Andy Murray's Scottish, so being Scottish ain't the reason for not being popular. Josh Taylor is not PC. Anti-lockdown doesn't pander to the soy mainstream media. Yeah, that's another thing, Crazy D3. He's got a mind of his own. He does have a mind of his own, Josh Taylor. Yeah, Price is at the point where he sells his chin for 50 or 60k a pop as a late replacement to save the latest Hearn pay-per-view Mong event. Basically. Garcia's ducking. Listen, man, if Ryan Garcia fights Rolly Romero in July instead of Javier Fortuna, it's a duck. Fortuna's better than fucking Rolly Romero by a long way. Billy Joe quit after his 2 or 3 best rounds. Yeah, he did, man. Yeah, I felt Billy Joe in those middle rounds was doing okay. To be honest, Max, I felt he was doing okay. IFL crucified the prospect for quitting. Disgraceful. Yeah, indeed. Yet the same guy, Billy Joe, who said he'll fight with both eyes broken, broken nose, broken jaw, brain beaten in, he'll continue fighting. You need to carry me out. Those were his words, man. Those were his words. And big up to Stephen again, by the way, for the contribution. Andy Murray is the only UK tennis player that stands a chance of winning a tournament. If there was an English player, the Scottish would be in the same position as Taylor. Yeah, that's true. That's more than likely true. Exactly, Ruben. Tommy McCarthy, Luke. I think Tommy McCarthy wins on points, maybe a late stoppage. Coogan and IFL get cash under the table from Eddie Hearns to run their channel. I wouldn't be surprised, Luke. I wouldn't be surprised. They definitely used to. They even admitted it back in the day. So I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not so much now, because they're a big channel, but back in the day they did. Yeah, Travelling Blood, obviously. Oscar Rivas versus Murat Gassiev would be an explosive fight. That's a great fight, a dear penance. Both guys have got great left hooks. Both guys have got great power on the smaller side. That'd be a great fight. Coogan took down the Mickey Theo interview. Bloody Muppet, yeah. Exactly, BG London. He's a biased fucking interviewer, journalist, whatever you want to call him. He knows where his bread. He knows where his bread is buttered, basically. So he's not going to ask for questions that we as hardcore fight fans want to be asked. He's not going to be that guy. He's basically a fluff interviewer. He'll ask for nice, kind questions. Won't really tread on anybody's toes. He is what he is, really. He's a tool of promotion, Coogan. And fair enough, he's getting paid and whatnot, but let's call it for what it is. Coogan is the Sri Lankan Frankenstein. Yeah, I want to see Gassiev back, Ruben. He's a fun fighter, man. Big power puncher. Yeah, exactly. Coogan is just used to being very, very comfortable with Matchroom. He's used to having exclusives at his doorstep. When he doesn't, he throws his toys out of a pram, despite him having all of the success. Yeah, I've noticed that, N. Like when Eddie Hearn was talking about leaving Sky Sports, Coogan actually asked, "Oh, what does this do for our relationship?" He actually asked that on an interview. So there you go. That says it all, really. I was such a big fan of Hunter, but there's no defending him right now. He wasted everybody's time, and instead of Hrgovic, he's going to fight an inactive cruiserweight. Absolute joke. I couldn't have said it better myself, Jiho Park. 100% I agree. Yeah, Diaz is moving up in weight, boxing learner. Good fight, that. Decent fight. Billy Joe put the towel over his head and kept it over his head out of the arena with shame. Yes, trash. 100%, Anthony. It's like TMZ level reporting. That's what it is, IFL. And to be honest, a lot of boxing channels are like that in general. They'll report on like random ass shit. Like Billy Joe Saunders' dad gets beat up at Canelo fight. I mean, is that really something for a boxing channel to cover? Seriously. Shit like that. Taylor has a mean streak and tries to hurt guys. That's all I ask of any fighter, and I'll support them. Yeah, exactly. Guys who put it all on the line. He's a good technical boxer, good fundamentals, and he comes to fight. Yeah, 100%, man. See, I like technically sound pressure fighters, and I like boxer punchers. They're my kind of go-to styles when it comes to boxing. They're my go-to styles. I know this is unpopular, but I don't blame Hunter for that move. Hrgovic is extremely high risk, and Hearn won the purse bid for that. Hearn hates Hunter, so maybe Hunter's team balance risk with reward. Maybe, but still, though, winning that fight opens the gates to Michael Hunter. It really does. It opens the gates for a big fight. It's like Hunter had a real go in him, and after the life and death with Sasha, he's taking the easy road. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maida Hamadouche. Yeah, I'm not a fan of female boxing, so hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it's not that. Ben Whittaker signing for Matchroom. Yeah, the amateur. He's a good amateur, actually. That'd be a good signing. Yeah, if Taylor was English, Hearn would have broken the bank. I agree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Daniel Dubois is fighting for the interim WBA heavyweight title. He's fighting Bogdan Dinu for that title as well. So I've got no idea how Dubois got that fight. No idea whatsoever. The opponent, Bogdan Dinu, actually right now, I think is a good opponent for Dubois. But having that title on the line, to me, is just, it's unnecessary pressure on Dubois. He's still very young, coming off a bad defeat. He needs time to improve and learn from that. I think slapping that title on him, it's just going to be more added pressure, to be honest. And I think that's what got to him first time around. He was pushed up too quickly, a lot of hype, and it kind of came crashing down. I think having that belt on the line isn't necessarily good for Dubois. Fury says him and Billy are taking over America, only for Fury to chicken out when Billy's dad gets pummeled. Yeah, Kevin Lorena, that's what I heard as well. Down to Bridgerweight, I heard that as well. Yeah, Triller could be offering more than any of us realise. It wouldn't surprise me. At the same time, fuck the greed because it robs fans of a great fight. Hunter versus Wilson is laughable, yeah. And again, it just dilutes the product. Another different subscription network to actually, that we have to subscribe to, kind of thing. WBA must be going through tough times. The amount of the amount of brown envelope rankings for them in the past 12 months, yeah, their rankings fucking suck, Ruben. Their rankings suck. Watch the Joyce Jennings fight. You'll favour Usyk based on that. Yeah, I've seen that fight. It's a close fight. Joyce got hurt to the body in that fight early on. But I think styles make fights kind of thing, man. I think Usyk's going to be in for a hard fight. I'd favour Usyk, don't get me wrong. I favour Usyk, but I think Joyce is going to be a real hard fight. Yeah, I see that, Duck. I see that, Duck. Boxing Twitter wants Taylor to lose because of his opinions of stuff. Yeah, how pathetic. I agree. Ryan Garcia is the boogeyman. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did XMB 45. Billy Joe also gave Monroe shit for quitting against Golovkin. Yeah. Yeah, as much as I'm a big Billy Joe Saunders fan, it's sad how Dubois was torn to shreds, yet Billy Joe Saunders, who also shat himself, is a warrior. That's shite on Dubois. Yeah, exactly. Treat both the same kind of thing. Just treat both guys the same. Again, I've got no problem with people going in on Daniel Dubois. I don't see it that way personally. When you've got that sort of injury, I'll always give you the benefit of the doubt. But Saunders, on the other hand, when you've talked like he's talked, that he'll give everything and die in the ring, etc., he was giving other guys shit for quitting. When he quits, yeah, he deserves criticism because he never lived up to his own standard, kind of thing. Yeah, Haney Linares, good fight. I like it. Ryan Garcia is scared of Fortuna. Bro, if he fights fucking Romero, man, in July, that's a bad look. Romero fucking... He sucks, man. Rolando Romero. Honestly. That kid who beat James Tennyson, Straffon, whatever his name was, he'd knock out fucking Romero. No doubt. He would knock out Romero. Michelle Joy Phelps is protecting Billy too. Sexy slag, laugh out loud. IFL Essex-based tabloid, basically. It's like the Sun. IFL is the UK version of Ellie Seckback. Yeah, basically it is, man. In my opinion, Joyce is more difficult fight for Usyk than Joshua would be. You could be right, James. I wouldn't be shocked. Wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, Porky's Corner had Mickey Theo on and uploaded footage he got of John Fury getting sparked out twice when he was a pro. John looked poor. He retired 8-4-1 with only one KO feather fisted. Yeah, I saw that video, Julius. I saw that video. He got beat by Henry Akinwande as well. John Fury. It'd be a decent fight. It'll be a decent fighter there. Be a fun fight. Bit of a tear up. You think at this point, Bivol at 168 could beat Canelo? I think he at least gives Canelo fits. Yeah, I think he'll give Canelo problems, but I just can't bet against Canelo right now in most fights. I just can't. Yeah. Yeah, John Fury used to be a chin in the air kind of heavyweight. No idea of keeping his head offline at all when punching. Basics, he didn't have a clue. Yeah, he looked pretty terrible to me, Luke. We need to stop shaming fighters who take a knee or stay in the corner with a massive trauma injury. I've broken my back in 3 places. When serious breaks happen, it takes all of your energy away. Yeah, I understand that, James. I totally understand that. And ordinarily, I wouldn't have given Billy Joe Saunders any criticism whatsoever for pulling out like he did. But when you slate other fighters for doing the same thing, and it happens to you, you've got to eat your words, man. You have to. I might favour Jennings in a rematch with Rivas at Bridgerweight. Do you know what? The first fight was really good, Duck. Really good. I felt Jennings was winning before he got stopped. Yeah, he could definitely win the rematch. I think he can outbox Oscar Rivas. But the thing is, though, Bryant Jennings has been very inactive. He's been very inactive, so I'd lean towards Rivas again. To some Canelo fans, you can't criticise Saunders for quitting due to his broken eye socket if you've never stepped inside the ring yourself. It takes balls to be a fighter. Yeah. I think you can critique Billy Joe, like I said, for what he said previously. Don't forget this weekend's unmissable matchup between the forgotten man, Manuel Charr, and the most talked about heavyweight in the world, that is Christopher Lovejoy. Yeah, I'm going to try and find a stream for that fight, D. I'll try and find a stream for it. I'll definitely watch that fight. I think Christopher Lovejoy is going to be absolutely god-awful, like absolutely terrible. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Christopher Lovejoy can shock the world over in Germany. Coogan getting pretty irate on Instagram with all of the Quitty Joe Saunders comments. I was calling for Chisora Ariola years back. That Soul Brothers, hell of a fight. Yeah, I agree. That'd be great. That'd be a great fight. Yeah, he looked bad, Wizard Sleeve, in that fight. He does Frank Sanchez does the basics well. He's got a nice jab, nice straight right hand. He can move relatively well, but he doesn't have those. He doesn't appear to be able to go through the gears. I'm not really convinced by his power, to tell you the truth. And yeah, he just looks a bit too basic for me, Frank Sanchez. He's a good, I think he'll top out to be a good fringe level contender kind of thing. Billy Joe was the hardest man in his caravan site, though. It went to his head till now. Yeah, Rolando sucks Hamilton still. Also, isn't there now 4 WBA world title eliminators? Dubois' fight, Hunter versus Wilson, Helenius versus Kalnacki, and Ruiz versus Ariola. I've got no idea how it all works and no idea whatsoever. But what I can tell you, the WBA, they're raking in sanctioning fees on all of those fights. So there you go. And fucking, I saw Manuel Charr. He had one. He had a fucking sort of belt on his shoulder when he was facing off with Chris Lovejoy. So all of these belts are knocking around. Yeah, Strap-on knocked out Tennyson. He got pegged. I'll tell you what, though, Duck. I think he'll knock out Rolando Romero. Safe Del, if Taylor beats Ramirez, his run at 140 is much better than Bud's. He'd arguably have the best 140 resume of this century. This is a stronger era than Bradley, Khan, Alexander, Maidana, etc. too. I agree. I agree, Mitra. I agree. It'd be a good run. There's no doubt about it. And even then, yeah, you've still got Jose Zepeda knocking about. So I wouldn't mind seeing the winner of Taylor Ramirez stick around for a couple of fights at 140. You know, fight Zepeda, for example. Maybe a Prograis rematch for Taylor or Prograis versus Ramirez. I wouldn't mind any of these fights. Exactly. Trying all of the matchroom bods, trying to turn his... Sorry. Exactly. Trying all the matchroom bods, trying to turn this on fans, saying we're wrong. Nobody's against quitting. Every time somebody takes a dig at Billy Joe Saunders for quitting, they're referencing Dubois. Exactly, Ruben. Exactly. Yeah, nobody's expecting a fighter to go blind for their $1.99 DAZN subscription. This narrative turning it all on fans of Billy Joe Saunders is annoying. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if I was Dubois, I'd be having a bit of payback. But listen, yeah, like you said, BG London, it's been advised for him to say that. Makes him look like the good guy. Big up to ABC Def. Salute to ABC. Hunter was also getting a mediocre purse for that very high-risk fight. Maybe Triller is offering a lot more. At the same time, fuck Hunter versus Wilson. Laugh out loud. I've heard sparring stories about Christopher Lovejoy, mate. He is awful. I fully expect an ancient Manuel Charr to brutally knock him out inside 5 rounds. That's what I'm expecting, Luke. That's what I'm expecting. Yeah, he definitely lacks power, Duck. Okay, so Charr is champion. So hang on. Joshua's the super champion. Trevor Bryan's the regular champion. Manuel Charr is the champion in recess. And Dubois is going to become the interim champion. Absolutely ridiculous. Honestly. I'm favouring Evgeny Romanov, Jared. I've got Romanov in that fight. Yes, big up to John Gonzalez. Salute to John. My favourite Texan back in the building. Big up to John. Yeah, the WBA, they're terrible. ABC, they're fucking awful. Yeah, Lovejoy better come out after the Allen fight was cancelled. Nobody's seen him in the ring yet. Laugh out loud. Imagine he goes in there and knocks out Manuel Charr. Yeah, Billy Joe Saunders quitting was the right move, I'd say, and the criticism he's getting for what he said about Dubois is obviously justified, absolutely justified. Yeah, I agree, man. See, that's the thing a lot of people are ignoring. Like Ruben said, that's the aspect people are criticizing. It's not actually him quitting. It's what he said. It's what he said in the past. Imagine defending Hunter for ducking Hrgovic for a title shot. Exactly. Yeah, Mike Wilson. Yeah, Mike fucking Wilson. What do you think of the "you can't criticize boxers unless you've boxed yourself" brigade? Can you criticize politicians if you've never been elected? That's how stupid that whole thing is. Tone. Like, I've never been a chef. Can I not critique food if it's fucking horrible? Oh, but you've not been a chef, bro. It's fucking ridiculous, Tone. Absolutely ridiculous. They're happy to take our money, though. So listen, if I pay for fights, I'll fucking criticize you. Even if I don't pay for fights, I'll fucking criticize you. Deal with it, man. On the same merit, yeah, if I've never been a boxer, that means I can't criticize you, but surely that means I can't praise you as well, because I don't know what it takes. So I wouldn't. It's a load of bullshit, man. Yeah, the WBA are the worst. Yes, Matthias versus Junkumbayev on the Daenerys versus Ubali undercard. Great fight. That's pure violence. Do you know what? I'm kind of leaning towards Matthias in that fight, to tell you the truth. I think he might break down Junkumbayev, but I'm not sure. I need to see more of Junkumbayev. I need to see a bit more. But it's a great fight, though. I think Junkumbayev hits harder, and I think he's technically more sound. But Matthias, man, brings that fucking pressure. Like, non-stop pressure, throws a lot of punches, hits hard. I think he could break down Junkumbayev. Not sure, though. Don't hold me to that. Hey, Dale, do you agree with the idea that Plant, if Plant had a bit more experience, he could give Canelo more trouble than Saunders? Maybe. But right now, I think Plant gets comfortably beat. I don't think he has the success that Saunders had, to tell you the truth. But yeah, maybe in a couple of years, yeah. You're right, AA, you're right. Yeah, Manuel Char's a joke too. He should retire. That's true as well, by the way. Now, this is another thing, Duck. Okay, they're saying Billy Joe has like a quadruple fucking eye fracture. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. For one way to prove it would be to release the records. That's what Eddie Hearn said that Frank Warren needs to do with Daniel Dubois. He said, let's see the eye injury. Let's prove it. That's what Eddie said to Frank Warren. Release the records. Well, I'm waiting on Billy Joe's records. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that wizard sleeve. Hunter fans defending him on the basis that he's not getting paid enough to take on Hrgovic need to take a seat. I agree, Tone. And again, Tone, listen, maybe that fight with Hrgovic wasn't paying what he wanted. Fair enough. But if you win that fight, you get a heavyweight title shot. That's where the money comes. So if you back yourself and you win that fight, you're going to get paid. But obviously, he didn't want to take that risk. And it's a duck. Yeah, WBA are raking it in. Charr and Bryan are both full regular champions. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Char's the new Fresequendo. Billy Joe Saunders is a total dick and I can't stand him, so I'm not defending him at all. I'm just trying to make people think deeper about injuries. I defended Dubois and Brook for the same reasons. Yeah, so did I, James. I defended Brook and Dubois. I don't hold that against them. And again, I don't blame Billy Joe Saunders, but he's basically dug his own grave kind of thing. I'll have to see it. I'll have to watch it, Vader. Imagine if Lovejoy comes out and shows that he's the reincarnate of Muhammad Ali. Yeah, yeah, Zepeda. I think his chin has been cracked after that war with the beast Baranchik. I think Zepeda gets stopped by Prograis in another war. Taylor might stop him too. Excellent boxer though. Yeah, Zepeda's a really good tricky southpaw, very good counterpuncher, carries power, nice and accurate. He's a good fighter, good boxer. Jose Zepeda, real good boxer. I think he's a hard fight for anybody in that division. Will that Lovejoy Char fight actually happen? I'm not convinced it even happens. Yep. Well, apparently it goes down on Saturday. We're now Wednesday. It's still scheduled. They're still talking about it. So it's looking likely. Yeah, exactly, Ruben. Like Tony Bellew springs to mind when you say that. Thoughts on Florian Marku? I like Florian Marku. Again, I don't think he's going to go all that far, but he is quite entertaining. I like his attitude, to tell you the truth. So I've got no problem with Florian Marku, none at all. I like his shtick. I think he's a fun fighter. Fuck it. Yeah, Dunaire versus Ubali card with just 2 fights announced is already better than the Ariola Ruiz pay-per-view. Yeah, that card is sick. Great main event in Dunaire versus Ubali, obviously. And Junkumbayev versus Matias is a great fight. So two great fights on that card. Awesome fights. Has Bellew played football past Sunday League? Probably not. I doubt it. Weigh-in for Char versus Lovejoy is tomorrow. Yes. As far as ECB is saying, it's on. Okay, sick. We're going to get the fight, man. What the hell is going on with the Hellenius Kanaki rematch? Heard nothing. I've got a feeling, D, this is my feeling. Again, it's based on nothing, but I've got a feeling maybe they're going to use Hellenius for Wilder. I think Hellenius would be a respectable comeback for Wilder, but very winnable. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, D. But yeah, I thought that fight would have happened by now. It was supposed to happen first quarter of this year. Yeah, PBC is slow with the heavyweights, yeah. Dunaire versus Ubali is a good fight. I'm leaning towards Dunaire. Yeah, it's a hard one to call because Dunaire is, 38 years old? And let's be honest, yeah, at that point in time, the wheels could fall off at any point. He could get old overnight. And bear in mind, he took a beating against Inoue. So for all we know, he could be a shot fighter now. It's hard to say with Dunaire where he's at. If it's for Dunaire from the Inoue fight, I think he'll knock out Ubali. But I just can't count that it's going to be that guy. It's a hard fight to call because of Dunaire's age. If I knew Dunaire had something left in the tank, I think he knocks out Ubali. I think he'll time him coming in. Ubali can be quite aggressive at times, and he does take risks. A little like Sean Porter, he'll kind of jump in, kind of recklessly. And, I could see Ubali walking into that left hook, just running into it and getting knocked out. But like I say, with Dunaire's age, for all we know, he's shot to bits, kind of thing. Big up to Levi Khan. Salute to Levi, man. Tuning in from NYC. By the way, lads, if you could smash the like, it'd be much appreciated. Always helps us out when you hit the like, man. Always helps us out. And also as well, thank you guys for, supporting the second channel as well. I know a few of you guys have shared it online and whatnot. So, yeah, big up to you guys for sharing the second channel, which is going quite well, by the way. Our second video, I think it got something like 12,000 views in a couple of days, man. So, second channel is going okay. We got quite a few hundred new subs in a couple of days, man. So, going all right. Going all right. If I was a big lump, I'd definitely turn pro. These heavyweights are bums. Yeah, listen, you could turn pro quite late at heavyweight and still have some success, no doubt. Do you think Canelo will fight the 8 Mile starter pack this year? Yeah, I think he will, Simon. I think that fight will happen in September. Gerald Beef Patty. Yo, Delman, always rated your stuff, but I'm seeing a lot of biased content here recently. That's a fake account, man. I can tell by the account name. I've never seen you before, man. Eddie was talking about broken orbitals before Billy Joe Saunders was even in the ambulance. Exactly. Just to prove it, man. I mean, his reputation's on the line right now. Why not? Yeah, exactly. Fucking man fans all in fighters' pockets. Stop the excuses for Hunter. Big payday versus Joshua Fury on the line if he wins, like Dell said. Yeah, and even if a winner vacates that belt, Hunter's still fighting for a vacant title. He'll still get paid. So, yeah, exactly. Canelo sparks Plant into next week. Plant's got heart, but he's getting stopped. I agree. I might watch Char versus Lovejoy if possible with morbid curiosity. Yeah, exactly. That's I'm looking forward to it. Tone. I want to see how bad good old Christopher Lovejoy really is. Yeah, Chris Lovejoy won't make it past 12 rounds, even against Char. As sad as it is, Char will 100% win, and likely by stoppage. Yeah, I don't think the matchroom card is good, Levi. Tommy McCarthy versus Alexander Dure, poor fight. Fucking Boazzi versus some random French guy who I've never heard of. That's going to be a poor fight. It's not a great card. Best fight on the card is Lerone Richards versus De Carolis. That is the best fight on the card, in my opinion. Isn't Hellenius the WBA gold champion too? What a mess. WBA pimped themselves out just to chuck their baby belts at anybody. Yep. Indeed. Us boxing fans can't critique after paying Spencer Fear on Logic. Yeah, exactly. These guys are full of shit, BG London. They're absolute full of shit. That's what I think, D. That's how I see it. I might be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Wilder Hellenius at some point this year. How do you think Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz goes? I'll tell you what, man. Again, boxing's a what have you done for me lately type of sport, right? Based on Ruiz's last performance, Ortiz definitely has a chance. I'd lean towards Ruiz, but it's a competitive fight. Nobody's getting blown out in that fight. Dempsey McKean's back in action this weekend against the 7-0 Aussie, Kikto Lutueli. It isn't all about Hunter getting paid more. It's about the greed and lack of regulation that causes this shit. I don't blame boxers for choosing easier opponents. I blame the sport for not regulating that. That's a good point, N. That's a good point. That's definitely a good point. Spencer Malcolm X Fearon. He's going to bat for Billy Joe Saunders, man. Hergovich Parker's a stinker, in my opinion. Yeah, you could be right, E-Machines. I wouldn't be surprised. You could see like Hergovich kind of stalking him, Parker kind of running around, trying not to get hit kind of thing, stinking the joint out. I could easily see that. A lot of clinching. US heavyweight boxing's on life support. Not one decent heavyweight this century. Yeah, I think their best prospect is Jared Anderson. He actually looks pretty decent, to be honest. I think he's definitely worth watching. Jared Anderson. I quite like what I see there. I think he's a good prospect. It's hard to call, but I'm counting on Denaire being good enough, but I can also see Ubali winning. Yeah. It's one of those fights, ABC. It's a real hard one. Figueroa Neri's a banger. Neri will win, in my opinion, but not a guarantee. Good fighter at super bantamweight. I agree, yeah. It's going to be competitive, but like you said, I think Neri's a bit too strong, a bit too busy. I think he hits harder. I think he's a bit too relentless, to be honest. And I think Figueroa is going to play into his hands. He's not going to be all that elusive in this fight. So I think Neri is a bit too strong. But it's a good fight, though. It's definitely a good fight. Hold up, boys. 1 second. Just going to get fucking, what do you call it? Channel link for the couple of guys in the chat. Yeah, ABC and D, second channel. I've just linked it in the chat right now. It's like I say, it's not a boxing channel. It's not a boxing channel, so your second channel is a bit too much for me, Del. I'm a delicate flower. I never had you like that. Sorry, I never had you like that, Tone. I thought you was a bit, I thought you'd be into that sort of thing, man. My opinion on pound for pound lists. I mean, I don't personally have one, Jared. My whole thing is, all I want to know is who the best fighter in each division is. You know, take the fights and we'll see who's the best in each division. That's my whole thing, right? I don't really care for pound lists. Most lists you see online from like people are basically just a list of their favorite fighters, really. So I'm not a big fan of them. Richard Comey back in Ghana this weekend. Interesting. Oh, Richard's older brother. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, ABC. When Slim Caleb gets dropped by Canelo, somebody's going to say, "Ooh, there goes gravity." Fantasy matchup: Anthony Joshua versus Ike Iwabuchi. Damn, that's a great fight. That's a great fight. Do you know what? I think Ike Iwabuchi will break him. Joshua's going to be dangerous, obviously, with his power, but Ike had a great chin. He had a great work rate, strong as a fucking ox. He could punch, great punch variety. He could work the body, work the head, uppercuts through the middle. I think he'd walk down Joshua and beat him. I really do. I really do. Oh, that's Figueroa's sister, Paul 123. Figueroa's fighting this weekend, so I thought I'd represent. Who do you think age will have a bigger effect against them in their next fights? Rigondeaux or Donaire? Oh, Rigondeaux, I think. Rigondeaux's legs have noticeably slowed down. Like, he basically has no legs now. And against a guy like Casemiro, who comes forwards, throws a lot of punches, has power, could definitely be a decisive factor in that fight. Whereas even if Donaire is shot to bits, which he could be, he's still got that punch kind of thing. Look, Boxing Squared, man. Even Boxing Squared is in on the joke now. Morning, Dell. Happy birthday for the other day. Hopefully you bagged a fatty. Thank you, Boxing Squared. Thank you very much. Malik Scott training Wilder is a joke. They had basically a fixed fight when they fought. Now they're best friends. They're opposite styles. Scott is just a yes man, embarrassing yet again from Wilder. Okay, listen. Controversial opinion, but I liked what I saw on the pads from Deontay Wilder. He was doing things that I've been asking for a long time. Again, I know it's only on the pads. Whether it actually shows itself in the ring is doubtful, but I liked what he was doing on the pad, throwing feints, doubling up on the jab, working the body. He was doing things on the pads that he doesn't do in fights, So I liked what I saw on the pads from Wilder. But again, doing it on the pads and doing it in the ring, completely different topics. But yeah, I'll give Malik Scott a chance. Yeah, there's only room for one slick-looking, pasty guy at 168. Plant gets beat black and blue. I agree. Yeah, Christian Hammer on the Lovejoy Char undercard. Hammer would spark Lovejoy. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah, Char versus Hammer would be a better fight. Tell you the truth. What time is the Chris fight? UK time? Chris fight? Am I going fucking mad? Chris. I'm not sure who you mean, Android. I'm not sure who you mean. Oh, Lovejoy, sorry. It'll be same time, like maybe 10 p.m., something like that. It's in Germany, so yeah, it'll be a bit like 10 p.m. probably, more than likely. 10 p.m. This doctor does videos on sports injuries and looked at Billy Joe Saunders' pictures and said his cheek or orbital bone could be detached from the other bones in 3 or 4 places. Hard to keep eye open with an injury like that. Yeah, okay. I know the guy you're talking about, Mitra. I know the guy you're talking about. How many WBA belts and interim belts are there? Yeah, it's crazy. And okay, so I'm going to try and say his name. Latuile is it? Sorry, Latuile. Is it Latuile? That's what it is now. Latuile is a New Zealander susceptible to the uppercut, with Julius Long dropping him twice with that punch. Yeah, so Dempsey McKean's not really in with much then. I don't rate Dempsey that highly, to be honest, but I'd imagine he'll have too much then. I wouldn't be surprised if Dempsey McKean gets fed to Justice Hooney in a little while. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, listen, Mitra, again, I agree, but it's just really what Saunders said is coming back to bite him. That's what it is. Ortiz is a bum. He's beaten nobody in 10 years as a professional fighter. Listen, man, he's not a bum. He's a good fighter, Luis Ortiz. Overrated in his prime, absolutely, but he's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter. Well done, Del Boy. You reminded me I needed to buy Taylor Ramirez, $12.99. 100%, man. $12.99's a steal, man. Considering, yeah, Chisora Parker on pay-per-view, what, 19 quid? Listen, Taylor Ramirez, much better fight. Much better fight for much cheaper. So there you go. Look at it that way. I've got no idea. Serendipity. I don't pay attention to what those guys say, man. Is it like the second Renaissance? No. Basically, the second channel is to cover some of the more messed up things in the world. Put it that way. That's all I'll say, really. Which fighter getting knocked out brought you the most joy? when Spike O'Sullivan got sparked by Lemieux in the first, I think I actually came in my pants. Can't stand that despicable weirdo and his fans. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Spike O'Sullivan either. I enjoyed that, but knockouts that I really enjoyed recently. The Wilder one was kind of funny, to be honest. I enjoyed that more so for the meltdown. Spike O'Sullivan's a good shout. I'm not a fan of Billy Joe Saunders, so that was satisfying. But to be honest with you, there's not been too many. Geez, Del, I can see that channel doing well, you know. Yeah, it started quite well, ABC. It started quite well. So fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. They only just created it, so we don't know. But is champion in recess transferable, you think? E.g., if Char loses, does Lovejoy get it and become mandatory to Brian? I've got no idea of a man who belches. No idea. Your guess is as good as mine with the WBA. People who care about pound for pound list should shampoo my crotch. Caleb O shit on white plant. Yeah, I think Ike pressures him. I think Ike's pressure gets to him. I really do. Ike was a maniac, but I think he would drag AJ into a war, and there's only one winner if that happens. I agree. I think Ike Ibushi is one of the biggest what ifs in boxing. No doubt about it. More so than Edwin Valero, more so than Dmitry Pirog. I think Ike Ibushi was like the biggest what if in the last 25 years or so. Yes, definitely boxing squared. Figueroa's sister looks firm. That's not your type, Del. Del's a feeder. Fuck you now. Yeah, Wilder definitely did look much better on the pads, but I could do the exact same thing. Exactly, Toby. Doing it on the pads and doing it in real life in the ring, completely different. Yeah. I like Patel, mate. Got some good banter. He told some woman on Twitter that who was hating on him that she dreamt of sucking his dick. Yeah, Prince Patel's playing a role, man. He's playing a character, and people buy into it. So he's doing something right. He's definitely somewhat entertaining. Wilder definitely looked better on the pads, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, sweet. I'm proper into crime and all of that. Thanks for the link to the second channel. No problem, man. No problem at all. Yeah, I agree, ABC Def. I can't stand national anthems in boxing. Cannot stand it. There's no place for a national anthem in boxing, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, White did. Yeah, White avoided Ortiz. He did. Wilder will never come back. He'll do a Nassim Hamed. We'll always talk about it and try to make people. He'll always talk about it and try to make people, but just to stay relevant. Fighters get better the longer they're inactive. An idiot, fans' minds. Yeah. But I think he'll come back. I think Wilder will come back. No, I can't see it, Adair. I can't see Michael Polite Coffee becoming a champion. Maybe a contender, though. Maybe a contender, but not a champion. Yeah, Sasha sparking Dillian was perfect with Bean reading Sasha's eulogy at the time. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Josh Kelly, ABC. That was another good one. Big up to Eric Gomez, man. Salute to Eric. Patel has better banter than the usual lads we see on IFL. Facts, 100%. Big up to Jonathan Morrison. Yo, look at the girl Ebony Bridges. She's hot. She's hot. Look at her eye after her last fight. It looked way worse than Billy Joe's. Yeah, exactly, man. 100%. It looked a lot worse. Now, she never had fractured fucking orbital bones, which Billy Joe apparently has. But who knows? Maybe Billy just got a black eye and he swallowed it. Who knows? Prince Patel's got his own channel now, and views are looking hard to come by. Laugh out loud. Yeah, no pussy in views for him. Yeah, same, Stephen, man. I just don't think boxing is the place for it, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't see boxing is the place for it. Especially when, like, you're in a foreign country, right? The foreign guy's anthem is always going to get booed, which I always find that disrespectful. I hate it when UK fans do it. UK fans do that a lot. They boo like the opposition's anthem. I always find that fucking so disgusting, to be honest. Patel getting pussy in views. Yes, big up to Minimax. Salute Neri Figueroa pick. I've got Neri on points, Minimax. I just think Neri's going to outwork him, be a bit too strong, a bit too big for him. Oh, Wilder versus Fury, sorry. Picking Avanesian to stop Kelly was by far my best prediction of the year so far. I was never sold on Kelly. Too much of a one-off fighter and flashy, whereas Avanesian very consistent and strong. Yeah, exactly, yeah. See, again, I fucked up on that fight because I was picking Avanesian all of the way through until the end, and I picked Josh Kelly on points. So I fucked that one up. That's my most frustrating prediction of the year for me. Because I know I should have picked fucking Avanesian, but it is what it is. Ebony sitting on both Dubois and Billy Joe Saunders. Black eye is different from your eye sinking into your head. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not being funny here, but there's a big difference between having Shannon Courtney on the opposite side of a ring and having Canelo or fucking Joe Joyce. Let's be real about it as well. Our national anthem lasts about 15 seconds, yeah. Yeah, I like Neil Marsh. Seems okay. God bless Mark. Salute to Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Big up to Mark. Very good channel, by the way. So if you've not checked him out, check him out. Any boxers fought with an orbital bone injury, guess they're real fighting men. Antonio Margarito, I know he did. Naoya Inoue against Donaire, he had a fractured orbital bone. It's been done before. Nah, he's okay, man. Eric Gomez is okay. I'm the twin brother and the pretty one at that. Prince Patel on YouTube sounds about right. Yeah, I need to check him out. Minimax, he says, thoughts on Xander Zayas? I think he looks very good for an 18-year-old, Minimax. He's going to be a big welterweight. He's going to move through the weights. Yeah, I like what I see, man. He looks a good prospect. A very good prospect. Definitely one to watch. Yeah, exactly, Neil. Inoue fought with a broken orbital. Yeah, Nakatani, Inoue, and even Paulie Malignaggi fought with a broken eye. Yeah, one thing about Paulie, he got a lot of criticism, but that guy had fucking mad heart, Paulie Malignaggi. And he wasn't a guy who was relying on one punch power to bail him out. If he was getting beaten up, he had no chance, like the Cotto fight, like the Hatton fight. He'll just stick in there and take his beating. That's one. That is. I've got to give Paulie credit for that. He had a lot of heart, Paulie Malignaggi. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Ebony's eye injury looked bad, but it's more superficial damage. Extremely swollen. However, Saunders and Dubois had actual long-term damage. Yeah, exactly. Unrivaled. They're not comparable, really. Lennox Lewis versus Ike Ibushi. Listen, Lennox Lewis, he could always get caught maybe and get stopped, but I think that's only the case when he's taking somebody lightly, like Oliver McCall, like Hashim Rahman. I don't think Lennox Lewis would have taken Ike Ibushi lightly. I think he would have outboxed him and beat him on points. A bit too long, a bit too tall, but Ibushi would have given him a hard fight. I think he would have given him a hard fight. Yeah, Inoue had it since round 2, exactly. And against a massive puncher as well in Donaire. Paulie fought with Paulie fought with a broken orbital. Yeah, he did. Yeah, there's a big difference between Shannon punching your face in and fucking Canelo laughing my ass off. Yeah, if you could smash the like as well, lads, be much appreciated. Yeah, Inoue showed a lot of heart in that fight. Won the fight after 10 rounds with a broken orbital bone. Yeah, mad heart. His eye looked fucking so weird after that fight, man. It looked like it got realigned kind of thing. It looked so weird. Yeah, I think he outboxes Ike, Ruben. Ike would have his moments. Might give Lennox a few scares here and there, but I think he would have beaten Ike. Would have been a good fight, though. Does Plant give Canelo a better fight than Billy Joe Saunders did? I think so. I don't think so, Minimax, for some reason. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think... I just don't see it. I don't think Caleb Plant's got the foot speed of Billy Joe. I don't think he's actually as elusive as Billy Joe. Caleb Plant I don't like that shoulder roll from Caleb Plant when he stands flat-footed in the shoulder roll, throwing one punch at a time. He invites pressure on himself, and he doesn't have a power to really stop you coming in. I think Canelo will beat him up, to tell you the truth. Yeah, say what you want about Paulie Malignaggi, but he fights under the Warriors Code. The Warriors Code, as Chris Eubank would say. He's got a lot of heart, Malignaggi. A lot of heart. I think Dillian White knocks out Tommy, Ian Ward. But again, that's a shootout. That's a shootout. Tommy could definitely... Listen, Tommy's got the power to knock out Dillian, but I think Dillian, if they fought 10 times, I think Dillian wins more than Tommy does. Yeah, Plant will start fast and then get stopped a few rounds later. Plant looks small when he doesn't hang with Canelo. Yeah, I don't think Plant fucks with Canelo at all. And his gas tank isn't exactly great either, in my opinion. He was flagging in the Uzcategui fight. If you watch that fight, in the last sort of 3-4 rounds, he was getting hit by big shots. He was getting hit by big shots, and his face was getting marked up, man, in that fight. And he was slowing down a lot as that fight went on. Even the Porky Medina fight, watch that fight back, kind of gassed out late on. So I think Canelo's going to take it out of his body, and he'll take him out in like 8, 9, 10 rounds, something like that. He'll take him out in a similar period to when he took out Billy Joe. 100%, Jared, 100%. Vitaly Klitschko fought Lewis with his eyeball close to rolling out and was willing to continue. Yeah, and before that, Vitaly had that quitter's reputation because of the Chris Bird fight, but he redeemed himself when he fought Lennox Lewis. He redeemed himself. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think Billy Joe Saunders is a better fiddler than Plant. I think Canelo will have his way with Plant. I agree. I agree. Tommy Morrison caught HIV in the 80s and fought with it for years until it showed up on a test. Crazy bastard. Yeah, I've heard loads of rumors about Tommy's HIV when he got it. Some say the 80s, some say later. I've got no idea, man. No idea. Dubois had nerve damage as well, and Ebony comparing that with swelling, yeah. Ebony is what she is, though. She's like an opportunist. And listen, we know how she sells herself, and there's nothing wrong with that. At least she's honest about it. But listen, the simps will buy that, but anybody with critical thinking can tell the difference. I think he'll get Plant out in 5 or 6 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised, ABC. I really wouldn't be surprised. I honestly think Canelo will demolish Caleb Plant. Plant's a very good fighter, but he's got nothing that Canelo hasn't seen before. Yeah, and tell you the truth, En, I think Plant is talented. He does certain things well. He's got some nice moves and whatnot, but I think he's vastly overrated, Caleb Plant. I really do. Okay, Boxing Social have just posted on Instagram a video of Buatsi's opponent training. He is actually horrendous. Yeah, he's like the 9th best light heavyweight in France, Matt. He's like the 9th best light heavyweight in France. So, yeah, I'm not surprised, man. Listen, it's a step backwards from Marco Kalic, and it makes you wonder what's happening with Buatsi. It makes you wonder what's happening. Like I said, I think they know something we don't. I think they're hiding something with Joshua Buatsi. I really do. It's hard to blame Billy Joe getting hit by roided up Canelo with his loaded gloves. Controversial this, but do you think Eubank Jr.'s resume is almost as good as Senior's? I know Senior beat Ben, but who else? Watson was a robbery, and that doesn't count. His WBO defenses were mostly against trash. Yeah, Eubank Senior's resume was vastly overrated. There's no doubt about it. But he did beat Michael Watson legitimately in the rematch when he knocked him out, as bad as that was. He obviously beat Roshi Agani in Germany. That was a good win when he beat him in Germany. He beat Nigel Benn. No, Eubank Senior is still quite ahead of Eubank Jr. Buatsi has what is it? Brittle British chin disease. Yeah, I'm not convinced by his chin, man. I think they're hiding that. I really do. I really do. Yeah, Paulie Malignaggi had a bare knuckle fight, fought with an orbital bone injury. Paulie's the real gypsy. Hate him or love him or hate him, you can't question Paulie's heart. You really can't. Eubank Senior was just a way better technical fighter, indeed. Yeah, Eubank Senior was a much better boxer than Eubank Junior. Senior had actually had a great jab. He was a good counterpuncher, hit a lot harder as well. Good timing. Senior was a pretty good boxer. He was like a boxer puncher, Eubank Senior, and he could definitely he could definitely make you feel it if he connected. Hopefully, Buatsi fights Craig Richards or just a step up in general. But yeah, his next opponent is not good. Yeah, Craig Richards to me makes a lot of sense. I think Craig Richards is the ideal fight for Joshua Buatsi. Do you think Daniel Dubois should fight the style like Evander Holyfield or Ike Ibushi? Yeah, I think Ike Ibushi would be a good guy to look at a dear pennant. But I don't think has he got the stamina to fight like Ike Ibushi. Ike Ibushi was a lot of pressure, a lot of punches. I'm not sure Dubois has that stamina to tell you the truth. Big up to Mad Chad. Salute to Mad Chad. Great channel, by the way. Check out Mad Chad. Real good channel. Big up to the 90s as well. Salute to the 90s. I don't believe Buatsi wants the Richards fight at all. You might be right, man. There's something going on with Joshua Buatsi. I'm sure of it. And I do like him. I like the guy. I think he comes across really well. He's humble. I like his style of fighting as well. He's entertaining, but there's something there that just doesn't add up to me. Bear in mind, when this guy turned pro, he was definitely the most highly hyped Olympian coming out of the UK when he turned pro. And now he's turned into... Now nobody talks about him. Like, he's completely lost his momentum and the excitement that was around his career. It's completely gone now. So I wonder what's happening with him. Yeah, maybe Kalic may turn shit himself a wee bit about Buatsi's abilities. It's obvious Buatsi's being a bit overprotected here. I think Johnson KOs him. I wouldn't be surprised, I wouldn't be surprised. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If they need to take more time with Buatsi, that's fair enough. I don't really mind, but again, a couple of fights ago, Eddie Hearn was saying, oh, Buatsi's 2 fights away from a world title. So there you go. Eubank Senior and Nass and that generation in general got away with fighting bums because it was before the days of BoxRec. You could fight a 20-0 bin man or road sweeper on ITV and everyone would think it was a good fight. That's a very good point, actually, Matt. That's a very good point. Fight fans now are a lot more clued up with YouTube, BoxRec. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Because back then, they'd see the record and they'd be sold on the fight kind of thing. Yeah, that's a very good point. If Eubank Senior had fought the other top fighters at the time outside of Europe, how do you think he would have done? I think he would have lost to everybody, Jared. James Toney, Roy Jones. I think he would have lost to those guys. Montel Griffin. I think he would have lost to all of these guys. Tell you the truth. Nah, Buatsi's dope, Del. Listen, man, I like Buatsi as a person, and I like his fight style. I find him entertaining. He does have talent as well. He's got ability. He's got offensive ability at least, but there's a lot of holes there with Buatsi, man. There's just too many holes defensively. Matthew Hatton deserves more respect. He won a European title, should have won the IBO belt against Ndu and went 12 rounds with Canelo. Take away the fact that he's Ricky's brother, he actually had a decent pro career. Yeah, he was a tough dude, Matthew Hatton. Had a real good chin. Him and Cordina both haven't been active enough, and Buatsi just hasn't fought good enough opponents, yeah. Like this guy, man, who... I forgot this guy's name, Buatsi's opponent. I forgot his name. All I know is he's some French dude with a Brazilian-sounding name. That's all I know. I mean, why not fucking... Why not Buatsi versus someone like Shabransky, for example? Isaac Chilemba. These would have been ideal guys for Joshua Buatsi. Can you imagine if Marvin Hagler was a heavyweight? Your head would have been a fucking problem. Hearn said he'll favour Buatsi in a Bivol fight, laugh out loud. I don't think even Eddie believes that, man. I don't think even Eddie believes that. But maybe, listen, maybe they realise there's not a star in Joshua Buatsi, because he's not exactly the most engaging guy in the world. His profile hasn't grown. Maybe they'll throw Buatsi in at the deep end soon. Because like I said, when he turned pro, there was a lot of expectations around him, like he was going to be this big star, future world champion. But his profile now really isn't anything bigger than it was when he turned pro. He's been super inactive. And he just doesn't seem to be going anywhere right now, Buatsi. Yeah, Buatsi's still fighting next-gen opposition, but he's now headlining Saturday night cards, exactly. Yes, big up the Pigeon. I think Senior would have had a chance against Griffin. Maybe. Griffin was a good boxer, though. Eubank against Mike McCallum at 160. Eubank has no chance. He'll get completely outpointed. Michael Nunn in and around that time. Michael Nunn would have schooled Eubank Senior. Yeah, exactly. Eubank Senior said himself fighting Tony or Jones was suicide. And one thing I rate Eubank Senior for, though, he was always very honest about that. That's one thing I rate him for. He wasn't giving you any false pretenses. That's one thing I'll rate. You can make the argument, Phil Bant, Matthew Patton did better than any of the other UK fools. Facts. You can make the argument. Saunders is a fucking comedian. Yeah. Not just that, BG London. Even the Ryan Ford fight, he was getting tagged up too much as well. And on top of that, the level of matchmaking and the fact he's going backwards right now makes me concerned. Makes me concerned, sorry. Do you really like fat women? If so, this needs to change, laugh out loud. No, it's just become a meme on my channel. I don't know where it started. It was J Dav. J Dav started it. That apparently I like fat girls, but no, I don't. I like thick girls with a little bit of meat, you know, some nice thighs, some nice booty, but not fat. Not fat. Do you know what? I've got no idea, apology, but more than likely it's on Mark's channel. It'll be on Mark's channel. If there was one on Mark's channel a few months ago. No, I was never a big Ricky Hatton fan, Jonathan. I always thought he was overrated as fuck, to tell you the truth. Like, he beat Costas Yu, who was like 18 months inactive, last fight of his career, you know, well past his best. And in that fight, Ricky Hatton was dirty as fuck, man. So fucking dirty. Like, that's his career best win. An old Costas Yu. Apart from that, who did he really beat? He beat Louis Collazo, which in my opinion was a bit of a robbery, tell you the truth. He beat Castillo, who was past his best. Malignaggi was a decent win. Juan Urango, decent win. But I just don't think the level of fame he got necessarily matched the level of his ability or his resume. I always thought Hatton was overrated. Feed Buatsi to Beterbiev just for tears and fun. Yeah, I don't. Do you know? I'll tell you the truth. With Buatsi, he doesn't look big enough to me. He doesn't look big enough to be a light heavyweight. This meme needs to end. Exactly, bro. Yeah, I'll stick it in the fucking chat, Adam. 1 second, bro. There you go. That's the second channel. Yeah, I felt I felt the Collazo fight was a bit of a robbery, man. You like a thick set bird. You know what I mean by thick. You know what I mean. Not just body wise either, like just thick in the head as well. Tell you the truth. Do you think Buatsi's mean enough for the Eastern Europeans at light heavyweight? I don't think he's big enough, bump of K. Like, Beterbiev, man, is a different fucking beast to Joshua Buatsi. Boazzi looks really kind of slim. He doesn't look like a real light heavyweight to me. Wish I'd been a betting man when Hatton was fought Mayweather. The bookies really bought into his hype. Yep, they did. Even the Pacquiao fight as well, Simon. The odds were quite close from what I remember. Yeah, Montel Griffin was underrated. He was the first and last competitive opponent with Roy Jones Jr. He beat James Toney twice, and he was beating Mikuchelski until he got stopped by Howard Cortez. Yeah, he was a good boxer, real small light heavyweight. Thank you, Pigeon Man. Del, do you give Canelo any chance against Beterbiev at light heavyweight? If there's like no rehydration clause or anything like that, I think Beterbiev is just too big. Eventually, size matters, and I think that'll be the fight. Thick thighs are the best, indeed. Thick thighs saves lives and all that shit. Yo, J9898 in the building. Salute. When Boazzi turned pro, I remember an interview when he said the lowest he could get down to was 170. He wanted to fight at super middleweight, but was really struggling to get down. Yeah, it could be one of those guys who's like in between weight classes almost. Have you seen Chavez versus Whittaker? Thoughts on the scoring? Rewatched it in my recent Mexican boxer binge. Yeah, I felt Whittaker clearly won that fight, like 8-4. That was a robbery draw, in my opinion. The second channel is very dark, twisted, and interesting and scary. Yeah, that's what we was going for, man. Just a bit of true crime, I guess you would say. The first few videos are going to be like based on like extreme content that's actually been released in relation to those cases. So like the first video, 3 Guys, 1 Hammer, the kids who done that, they obviously filmed the video and it went online. And the same with the second video. Like the first few videos are going to be things like based on like horrendous content that's been uploaded. The next video I've got in mind, I've got a couple of more cartel videos in mind. So watch out for those. Okay. It might have been you then, BG London. It was either you or J Dav. One of you. You two basically fucking started the movement, though. It was me who started the fat bird thing, Del. Sorry, mate. I asked you if you would bang a ginger fat bird. And my answer was no. I guarantee it was no. Boazzi's definitely mean, you can tell. He has that spite in the ring, which every fighter needs. Yeah. Yeah, one thing about Boazzi, I'll give him credit for showing some guts against Kalic. He showed some guts. Canelo's going to walk through Beterbiev. The way things are going, bro, I wouldn't be shocked. Don't know, man. I think Beterbiev's going to be too big. Eventually, weight classes have to matter. Eventually, right? And I think Beterbiev would be that guy. Yes, big up to the Quags in the building. Yeah, Sweet Pea's my favourite slick fighter as well, because he could actually put his shots together when he really wanted to. Like against the Cuban fella when he was losing, Hurtado, I think his name was. He was losing that fight, and he said, fuck it, I'm going to put this guy to sleep. And, yeah, he got the job done. Well, that's what Del is. He seems nice, but not, hence the second channel. Yeah, exactly. You guys probably think I'm a fucking psycho or a fucking... something wrong with me or something. There probably is something wrong with me, tell you the truth, but yeah, Pernell Whittaker, what a fighter, absolutely outstanding, and a lot of blemishes on his records were controversial, yeah. To be honest with you, ABC, I felt the De La Hoya fight was genuinely competitive. I don't think that was a robbery, but I think Chavez Whittaker was. And obviously the fight with Ramirez as well, that was a robbery. Yeah, Canelo's going to walk forward flat-footed, not move his head, and walk through Beterbiev. I saw an interview with Florian Marku, and he said he believes Ryland Charlton could never be the same because of how much damage he took. I agree, to be honest. Yeah, Florian put a fucking beating on Ryland Charlton. Hidden Ape. I like that name, by the way, as well. I like the name. Do you know anything about Nathan Cleverley's dad? He wasn't involved in his career anymore after Kovalev fight, and there was dark rumours. Bellew brought it up at their rematch in a press conference. Yeah, I heard the rumours about Nathan Cleverley's dad, about to do with kids. I never found out whether that was true or not. But if it is, man, that guy's a fucking scumbag. But I know what you're talking about, Paul. Yeah, the cartel vid did very well. Could work. The Mexican cartel vid did very well. Could work well if you plan a miniseries. Yeah, I've got a few. Listen. The thing is with those cartel videos, there's fucking so many of them. You could go on forever. You could literally go on forever with the cartel videos. And to tell you the truth, yeah, the most messed up thing about it, the video I talked about in that video, is like fucking tame compared to a lot what's out there. That's a fucking sick thing. Yeah, exactly, Simon. Yeah, the second guy in the chainsaw video stayed so calm. I guess he had accepted his fate. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a crazy part of the world. Do you think Joe Joyce should be a switch hitter? He does sometimes anyway. Naturally, he kind of switches in between stances. But he's kind of... He makes it work for himself, man. He doesn't look the most coordinated, but he makes it work for himself. What do you think of Spence's best performance? Sorry, what do you think Spence's best performance was? And what do you think Crawford's best performance was? I think Spence's best performance was versus Peterson, and Crawford was versus Felix Diaz. I think Crawford's best performance was Jeff Horn, or maybe Felix Diaz, like you said. As for Errol Spence, I'll say Kell Brook, because it was away from home. He had a few bad early rounds. He adjusted and he broke him down. He got through adversity, basically. So I would say Brook for Spence and probably Jeff Horn or Felix Diaz for Crawford. I'll be praying for Beterbiev to bring some parliamentary procedure to this marauding Mexican. Fat female chat is banned, Mr. Pigeon. Facts. Yeah, Nathan Cleverley is going fucking crazy, bro. He's on the finest fucking Colombian powder, Nathan Cleverley. His Instagram is fucking nuts. So yeah, listen, I don't want to be held for liable, but what's the worst crime a guy could commit? Or what's the worst crime an adult could commit? Allegedly. What's your sexual fetish? Go on, nobody will judge. We've all got them. I'm going to leave that one alone. That'll be a good fight, Jiho Park. I'll probably favour Fortuna, to be honest. That'll be a good fight. Mexicans are not all that. I don't know, man. I'll tell you, some of those guys are fucking crazy, bro. When you look at the cartel, though, whether it's Mexico, fucking Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, it kind of makes you laugh about like the UK and even the US. I know the US is a lot worse than the UK, but they're different fucking worlds, man. They're different fucking worlds. Like the cartels compared to like a first world country. It's different worlds, man. My sexual fetish is a pantyhose feet. Who would you say are the three best domestic welterweights in the UK? I'd say Conor Benn. I'm not going to count Kell Brook or Amir Khan, by the way. I'll say Conor Benn, Michael McKinson, Chris Jenkins, I'd say. Yeah, I thought I'd put something in the background, man. Have to put something in the background. They wouldn't last in Pakistan, trust me. Yeah, Pakistan, man, there's some bad places in Pakistan. Some bad stuff happens out there. There's no doubt about it. My fetish is my fetish is that I like men every now and then. I'm a giver, not a receiver. Fucking hell. Jesus. Don't think Cleverly Senior was ever charged, to be honest, but Nathan definitely stopped speaking to him, and Bellew poked the bear. Something went down. Yeah, that's messed up, isn't it? That's messed up. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I do remember Bellew saying something about it now. Now you say. Yeah, Bellew was going in the build-up to that rematch. He was talking about Cleverly's AA meetings as well. Do you remember that in The Gloves Are Off? When he mentioned Cleverly's AA meetings, allegedly. Yeah, Bellew was going in then, man. He was going in. Yeah, man. Listen, man. It's not an easy place to live, man. Pakistan, there's no doubt. It's not an easy place to live. They got some killers out there, man. They got some certified killers out there. So I wouldn't doubt it. But bro, some of those fucking cartels, man. I kid you not, they're bad. They are very bad. And there's stories for days, man, with those cartels. Like it's like pure content. Tell you the truth. But the only thing is, yeah, I don't really want to watch more of those videos to make fucking videos. So we'll see where it goes. Who would you say is the best pound-for-pound drinker in boxing? Kovalev and Spence are nominees, I'd say. Yeah, Kovalev and Spence are definitely pound-for-pound when it comes to being pissheads in boxing. I'd say Spence is a better drinker because, listen, Kovalev's alcohol addiction has shown when he gets hit to the body, whereas Spence, it's not really shown yet. So I think Spence, pound for pound, is the best drinker in the sport of boxing. He handles it a lot better. Honestly, I know I'm helplessly biased, but Florian Marker would stop McKinson, would bypass his awkward style and uppercut him to death and use his actually decent jab. You could be right, LR. You could be right. Be a good fight, though. They only kill innocent people at Blue Collar Sports TV. Do you mean the cartel? They'll kill anyone, man. Bellew's kids are little shits. He came in with them where I worked once, and they was running around completely uncontrolled, behaving disgracefully. Spoiled little shits. Oh, dear. Tank Davis is a drunk little bastard too. What you're saying is, Phil, they're more like they're more what do you call it? They're more efficient with it. Dillian White, Dillian White. Spence's pound for pound for flying out of Ferraris. To be fair, Kovalev's never turned over a car. But listen, man, everything Spencer's gone through, he's got through it without a fucking scratch. He's fighting again. He's taking body shots. He's taking big shots, and it's not shown itself. So Errol Spence Jr. must be a better drinker. He can handle his alcohol a lot better. So I'm going to say Spence is the pound-for-pound drinker in boxing. Kovalev number 2. To me, it's about functioning as well, not just like being the biggest pisshead, but it's actually being a pisshead, and it's functioning being a pisshead. And I think Errol Spence is a more functioning pisshead than Sergey Kovalev. I'll have to look into that, Pigeon. I've not really looked into that sort of side of the world. Tell you the truth, but I'm sure there's some deep organisations out there. Had to mute the mic because I farted. That's a good fight. Michael Hunter, Chris Bird. I'd say Chris Bird. Chris Bird was actually a very good boxer. Very good boxer. Pakistan runs drugs globally, not Mexico, by a long way. Mexicans run USA, nowhere else. To be fair, though, a lot of the Mexican shit comes to the UK, man. Like the cocaine and shit. But again, I'm not disagreeing, man. I've not really done my research when it comes to Pakistan. Do you expect Spence Tank to get old overnight? Not living the life usually catches up with fighters sooner or later. Yeah, it could happen, Matt. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised, because neither guy's really shown any signs of changing their ways. Eventually, it will catch up with them. So, yeah, I think you could be right there. Have you seen Tyson Fury's body? He's so out of shape with those love handles. Yeah, he doesn't look great. He doesn't look great right now. But Tyson's always like that, man. He's one of those guys. He carries so much weight. He can shed 20 pounds off in no time and tone up a little bit. I think he'll be all right come fight night, tell you the truth. But even that, though, eventually that'll take its toll on you if you continuously get out of shape, go back in shape, get out of shape, come back in shape. Eventually, those cycles are going to get to you. So he needs to be careful. He needs to be careful. My fetish is keeping my shoes on, and the chick wearing high heels done it a few times. That's an interesting one. Could Logan Paul actually beat Floyd? Massive weight difference. Reach and height will be something he's never experienced before too. Logan in the clinch will be fucking dangerous for Floyd. Now Floyd will fuck it. Floyd will fuck around and beat him, man. Broner has to be the best pound for pound drinker. He's a complete mess. Yeah, Broner's up there. Broner's definitely up there. Broner doesn't only drink, though. I think Broner does the lean as well. I'm pretty sure. Do you believe that most of the victims in the cartel videos are rival cartel members and not civilians? Yeah, most of them are either like fucking snitches or rival cartels. That's what most of those videos are. Snitches or just rival cartel members. Or guys who have stolen from them, kind of thing. But they do, they will rope other people in who are not involved. So let's say somebody grasses, they might kill the whole family in general, not just the guy who grassed, kind of thing. Like there's one specific video, I don't want to give it away, but basically they kill a father and a son, and the father was like an informant. So yeah, they'll kill innocents as well. Is Crawford's wife the biggest overachiever you've ever seen? Time Booth hit a nerve when he made that video going in on her. To me, he was spitting facts. He was spitting facts, man. Yeah, Albanians do a lot of work out here in the UK. They do a lot of work. Especially around my neck of the woods as well, in Luton. There's a lot of Albanians in Luton. And you know what? I wouldn't fuck with Albanians. I really wouldn't. Oh, yeah, that'll come as well, Jared. That'll definitely come as well. So, like, murders, shit like that. That'll all come eventually. So I was thinking of doing a video on the Wonderland murders. That's an interesting topic. If you've heard of that, the Wonderland murders. Billy Joe Saunders looks like a dope fiend to me. He does a little bit. Crawford's wife is Dell's type. Oh, dear. Yeah, Tyson's body has never been the same since his comeback. His whole body composition has changed since putting the weight on. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Although I thought he looked pretty good in the Wilder rematch at that weight, he actually carried it quite well. Yeah, the Albanians are definitely big-time players in the UK, no doubt about it. Broner legitimately could be dead in 10 years. Don't know why that's funny, man. Shouldn't laugh. Yeah, Broner does the purple drink. He does, man. There's no doubt about it. Fucking Nordic, man. Do you remember Spence Gate crashing the Porter Garcia press conference talking about how Crawford's resume is smoke and mirrors and how he's way better than him? Do you agree with what he said? Yeah, listen, I think Errol Spence's resume is better than Crawford's. I do think that, but yeah. I think his resume is better. But I don't... Yeah, Frampton's old opponent, the Mexican kid he fought in the US before Quigg, he and his old man themselves got killed by drug lords. Shame the kid was very young and looked talented. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that, Paul. Liam Neeson whipped some Albanians in the Taken movie. I believe Microsoft plus Nintendo plus Google plus SNK, Playmore, Sony, Sega should just join forces and team up and make it the ultimate console together. Yeah, it'll never happen, man. It'll never happen. They want to keep the pie for themselves, like Kugan Cassius and Derek Chisora. Yeah, Alejandro Gonzalez Jr., that's the one. Yeah, he got killed by drug cartels in Mexico. Yeah, he dropped Frampton twice, yeah. He done well in that fight. Gave Frampton a lot of problems. Yeah, I've heard of him. I've heard of him, Ian Ward. I know he's been sparring with Anthony Joshua, Steve Robinson. I've heard of him, but I've not really seen too much. Do you see Joshua becoming a dominant champion? I think eventually Joshua's going to get beat again. Same with Fury. Fury will get beat eventually. I don't think anybody's going to go on like a 5-year run or 6-year run or anything like that. Yeah, I'm the same, Jiho Park. At first I found Marku annoying, but his fight with Charlton earned my respect. Marku grabbing the towel of Charlton's corner and putting it on his head as it was falling in the air was hilarious. Yeah, Marku's all about that business. He comes to fight. He comes to fight. And he's fun to watch as well. Hits pretty hard. Yeah, Nordic's got Taylor on points. And I agree as well. I've got Taylor on points in a close decision. But that's one of those fights where I wouldn't be shocked no matter what happens. Either guy gets stopped or either guy wins on points. I wouldn't be shocked to see a draw. Any result in that fight would not shock me. The only things that would shock me are early knockouts. That's the only thing. But apart from that, I can see either guy getting stopped. I can see either guy winning on points. I could see a draw. I wouldn't be shocked no matter how that fight goes, really. And that goes to show how good of a fight it is, though. It's a great fight. And speaking of Mexicans, eventually a British guy's got to beat a Mexican, eventually. So I'm hoping Josh Taylor's the guy. Shitbag. Press the wrong fucking thing, man. Yeah, it's going to take a hell of a lot to KO Taylor. He's been hurt, though. I felt Progress kind of buzzed him up. I don't know. Like Ramirez does hit hard, and he brings a lot of aggression, a lot of work rate. If he hurts Taylor, he'll jump on him, kind of thing. So if he hurts Taylor, he could get the stoppage because of how aggressive Ramirez is. So I wouldn't be shocked. If Taylor stops Ramirez, though, I think it'll be to the body. It lasts 10 for Taylor if he's lucky. Okay, Pigeon's got Ramirez by knockout. I'd favour Taylor. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Taylor. Does Canelo have Irish blood? He might do. What's his middle name? What's his middle name? Something like Barragan. I've heard that's Irish. I'm not sure whether that's true or not. But apparently his middle name is Irish. It's like Saul Barragan Alvarez or something like that. Maybe he is Irish. Maybe his mum fucking cheated and got up the duff by an Irish dude. Who knows? Do you think Joshua could beat Tyson if he had Peter Fury in his corner? Peter dropped hints in the past about him wanting to train AJ. We know he doesn't speak with Tyson anymore. That'll be the ultimate fucking mind game, I'll tell you that much. That'll be the ultimate mind game. And I think those two would work well together, believe it or not, as well. But yeah, I think Peter knows Tyson as well as anybody. So I think it would definitely increase Joshua's chances of beating him. Josh Taylor will probably beat a Mexican. He's not a Brit, laugh out loud. Yes, he is, man. He's Scottish. Scottish are part of the British Brethren, so I'm claiming Josh Taylor. No, in all seriousness, Josh Taylor's my favourite UK fighter anyway, so I think he'll win. Ramirez will win. Boxing heritage, he can't lose to a pale Brit. If the culture in them gyms would kill him. Yeah, it'd be crazy, Nordic. It'd be fucking crazy. He's definitely up there. And I tell you what, if he's not right now, the way he's going, he will be very soon, because he's building a very good resume. 16 fights, whatever it is, 16, 17 fights. I think it's 17 fights. Victor Postal, Ivan Baranchik, Regis Prograis, even guys like Miguel Vasquez, Ryan Martin, O'Hara Davis. His resume is fucking tight. Josh Taylor, and he's fighting Ramirez coming up, so he's on the path. Yeah, I've got Taylor on points, but it really wouldn't surprise me if Ramirez pulled a very late TKO in the bag. Yeah, out in the bag, yeah. Taylor by decision, I give him the edge because of his punch variety, body work, and speed, but Ramirez is going to come to win, so it's a very dangerous fight. I used to like Tank Davis on the come up, especially after the performance against Pedraza, but since then he's had an underwhelming he's had underwhelming performances and hasn't had any quality wins. Yeah, that's fair. J9898. I was expecting a lot after the Pedraza fight. That's fair. Peter's running Jippo style wouldn't suit Joshua. Yeah, you're probably right, to be fair. You're probably right. There's no way he's Mexican, man. Ginger Mexican. Lots of Irish moved to where Canelo lives in Mexico hundreds of years ago. He'd be from them, no doubt. Yeah, it's probably that. Those Irish genes still coming through. I think Taylor's the better fighter overall, but the styles favour Ramirez big time in this fight. Yeah, exactly, Jonathan. You just know, like Taylor is more versatile. He can do more things in there. But he's one of those guys who I kind of describe it as like the fighter's ego, where if he gets caught, he's going to stand and trade and want to get you back. And this is the sort of fight where that could be Josh Taylor's undoing. This is that sort of fight where that could come unstuck. So we'll see, man. It's a great fight, man. I wouldn't waste your time, Pigeon. I wouldn't waste your time. Yeah, I agree, Crazy. I actually think the Kronk style suits Joshua more than Fury. Could be wrong. I said this years ago, Crazy D3. I got a comment on somebody else's channel to prove it as well. Because I was randomly looking at their old videos, and I had a comment from 7 years ago. I think it was before the Dillian White fight. Whenever it was a long time ago. And I said Joshua should join Sugar Hill. Go with Sugar Hill. I agree. I totally agree. Listen, man, if you get it right, Pigeon, it's a hell of a prediction. This may be controversial, but first time I watched the Prograis fight, I thought Prograis just nicked it by a round. Definitely could have gone either way. No, I don't think that's controversial. I thought it was a very close fight. I had it 7-5 Taylor, but I could see a draw. I could see 7-5 Prograis. It's one of those fights. That's not controversial, in my opinion. I think Taylor wins on points as well. I think that is the popular pick right now. Taylor on points. That's my pick as well. They should do a heavyweight. Sorry, they should have a heavyweight Grand Prix for boxing, if that makes sense. Yeah, like Pride used to do. Oh, so and you're saying that as a Scot? That's very honest, man. That's very honest. But I agree. I thought it was a very close fight. Tyson's probably got it in the contract that Joshua can't employ Peter Fury to train him for the fight. You wouldn't be surprised, Ian. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, British if he wins, Scottish if he loses. Those are the rules. I love Josh Taylor. Guy's got a real nasty streak. The way he jumped on O'Hara Davis when Davis signaled to the ref he couldn't breathe and wanted a break. Most fighters would have just stood there and looked. Yeah, Josh Taylor's got that real fucking mean streak in him. Yeah, I think this as well. I think Prograis head-to-head, I think he would beat Ramirez. But I still think Ramirez is a very hard fight for Taylor. Taylor's from China. Is Canelo's brother messing with the cartel? How the hell did he get kidnapped? Laugh out loud. I doubt it, man. It's just, I guess it's like just risky being in Mexico when you're worth tens of millions of dollars. They'll try and extort money and make bank that way, man. But no, I don't think Canelo's brother's involved with the cartel. Yes, big up to Tony Boswell. Salute to Tony, man. Salute to Tony. Big up to Tony, man. Josh Hard Brexit Taylor, proper fighter. Granite Brexit Josh Taylor. Yeah, Josh Taylor's mean as fuck. I like that about him. He's got a lot of fire in him too. He does, man. He's a proper fighter, Josh Taylor. And he's one of those rare British fighters who can actually fight on the inside as well. Amir Khan's chin is from China. Shit, where was I at? Yeah, that's what's missing with Joseph Parker, Jiho Park. It's that killer instinct with Joseph Parker. He's too nice, man. He's too nice. And it's not going to change now. He's always going to be that way. I thought Prograis beat Taylor, but I want to rescore it. I haven't watched it for a long time, and it was a great fight. Yeah, it was a fucking brilliant fight, Jared. It's a great fight, man. Again, if you scored that fight by a round to Prograis, no complaints. If you scored it a draw, no complaints. 1 point to Taylor, no complaints, man. It's one of those fights. I think we can say, though, nobody decisively separated themselves from each other in that fight. They was fighting on a similar level. If Taylor loses to Ramirez, I look forward to all of the exposed videos, and I told you so's. Yeah, that's always the way, Nordic, when somebody unbeaten loses, or somebody who's on a good run loses. It's always the same shit. Oh, he's been exposed. It's ridiculous, man. And then these fans wonder why these guys don't want to take these risky fights. Yeah, Josh Taylor is always in good fights, and if he was with Matchroom, he'd already be seen as a British legend. You're not far wrong there. You're not far wrong, Bump of K. You're not far wrong. Pacquiao is Taylor's hero. Yeah, I've heard that actually. I'm Phil. Ever watched a fight that you was convinced was fixed? Something that maybe went under the radar? Yeah, I've said this a couple of times actually. When I've brought this topic up, the fight I thought was fixed was Seth Mitchell versus Jonathan Banks 2. So Jonathan Banks knocked him out in the first fight when Seth Mitchell was like the big heavyweight prospect in the US. So he knocked him out in the first fight in a couple of rounds. The rematch was ordered, or the rematch got made. And in the rematch, like Jonathan Banks just wasn't throwing any punches. Like he was like for purpose. He was defending himself, moving around, but he wasn't throwing punches. And when he did, they was light. They was like nothing on them. I was convinced he took a dive in that fight. Absolutely convinced. Wilder versus Scott as well. Definitely suspect. Lamb chop. A close fight will go to Ramirez's favor. Bob knows easy money with a Mexican fan base. Yeah, people forget. People forget Jose Ramirez is a big fucking ticket seller in the States. In his home state, he sells like 18,000 tickets. He's a massive ticket seller in the States, and he's definitely he can definitely generate revenue. So Matchroom only cares about Gay J. Exactly, yeah. Banks was holding Mitchell up, tapping him. Exactly. That was a fixed fight, Nordic, in my opinion. Yeah, I like Taylor's inside fighting skills. Prograis versus Taylor fight was stylistically similar to Chocolatito versus Estrada. That's an interesting comparison. I need to watch that both fights back simultaneously and see if I can see it. But I can kind of see I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah, that could be a fixed fight. Bradley Pacquiao 1 could be a fixed fight in terms of judging. Yeah, that could be a fixed fight. Every Canelo fight since Golovkin. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Paul 123. Tommy Coyle versus Martin Geffen on Sky. Coyle went down from a nothing shot, and Geffen looked horrified. Didn't throw another punch, then pulled out after 2 rounds later with a supposed injury. Utter BS. Yeah, that sounds suspect. That sounds suspect. And there's a whole host of reasons for fixing fights. Obviously, if you've got like a prospect or a guy who can generate money, a fight could be fixed in his favor by the promoters. The fighter himself could take it upon himself to take a dive for like betting purposes or something like that. There's a whole host of reasons why a fight could get fixed. It's not just like, oh, the promoters are all in on it, or like, you know what I mean? It's not just that. Like the fighter himself could just take a dive and get somebody else to make a bet. You know, shit happens. It definitely happens. And especially like journeyman or like lower level fighters where not as many eyes are watching. And let's say there's betting odds. If you're like some 10-5 journeyman, right, and you're fighting a prospect, maybe you go over in a certain round and bet on that round, kind of thing. It definitely happens. Yeah, big up to official, man, every single time. Canelo's the new Kawagi. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. But yeah, speaking of upcoming fights, I see on BoxRec now Lomachenko versus Nakatani is now like penciled in. That's gonna. I'm actually looking forward to that fight. I think that's a hard fight for Lomachenko. Nakatani. Nakatani brings that size, man. He brings that pressure. He's not going to be an easy fight, Nakatani. He really isn't. Listen, in terms of skill set, Lomachenko's on a different level, but eventually size and physicality plays a part in fights. And I think that could be one of them. Lomachenko needs to go to that body of Nakatani. There's a lot of body to aim at. That's what Lomachenko needs to try and do in that fight. But I think that's a hard fight for Lomachenko. I'm looking forward to it, actually. I'm looking forward to it. Nakatani's never been clearly beaten. His best opponents are Teofimo and Felix Verdejo. As we know, he knocked out Verdejo. And against Teofimo, that was a close fight. He gave Teofimo a lot of problems in that fight. So coming back to Nakatani after a shoulder surgery, after time out of a ring, I think that's a good fight to come back to for Lomachenko against a genuine top 10 lightweight. A bump of K, I can't see it being easy work. I know skill set wise they are worlds apart, I get that. But like I say, eventually size plays some sort of factor, and the physicality of Nakatani has to play a factor in that fight. Yeah, I think Nakatani is a hard fight, but Lomachenko should break him down at some point in the fight. You could be right, Nordic, but don't get me wrong. I'm picking Lomachenko to win, but I think he'll have a hard time. It's in June, BG London. Let me have a look for you. Exactly what date. I like the fight. I do like the fight. It's on the 26th of June, BG London. 26th of June in Las Vegas. I think that's an interesting fight. Is that some sort of title eliminator? I wonder. Yeah, 26th of, yeah, that's it, 26th of June. Yeah, he'll come in there and prove a point. Nakatani's tough as nails, though. That's his best asset, yeah. His size and his durability. He throws a fair few punches as well. Decent punch power. There's a couple of you who thinks it's going to be an easy fight. N thinks it's going to be an easy fight. Bump of K thinks Loma beats him easily. So does Will. Yeah, Rocky Fielding was a joke against Canelo. Yeah. Yeah, but Nakatani's not Lopez. It's a very hard fight for Loma, but I see him coming back in style. Oh, you don't get me wrong, N. Like, stylistically, Nakatani is worlds apart from Lopez, but we saw how Nakatani gave Lopez problems, kind of thing. Nakatani's a good fighter. I think Nakatani's one of those guys. He'll give everybody problems in that division. More than likely, he'll lose to all of the elite guys, but he's always going to give guys problems. He's one of those sort of fighters. Nakatani could end Lomachenko, and Loma's my favorite fighter. Listen, I'll put it this way. If Nakatani wins, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be like out of this world shocked kind of thing. But I'd be surprised. I'll say Lomachenko wins a hard-fought decision, like an 8 rounds to 4 with some hard rounds. That's what I think's going to happen. Amir Mansour against Brazil was dodgy as well. Fake X-rays and so on. He was winning that fight and then quits on the stool. Yeah, apparently apparently he cut his tongue or something like that. Split his tongue. Loma's still great. Oh yeah, no doubt, BG. No doubt. Also unpopular opinion, but I'm kind of glad Lomachenko is somewhat out of a title picture. I think Loma getting beaten has heated up the lightweight division and is the best thing for it right now. Listen, man, I think that point would have merit if these lightweights were fighting each other, but they're not. Ryan Garcia's out here having mental breakdowns. He's pulling out of fights. Devin and Ryan's not happening. Teofimo's fighting a shit Mando, and he's like pricing himself out of a Devin Haney fight. So I'd agree if these fights were happening, but these guys are all playing politics and A-side, B-side bullshit. So I'm not sure about that, man. I'm not sure. Top 3 most entertaining fights since 2016, 130 and above. Some mentions are Golovkin Canelo 2, Spence Porter, Thurman Porter, Taylor versus Prograis, Joshua Klitschko, etc. Golovkin Canelo 2 is one of my favourites. Taylor versus Prograis, Inoue versus Denaire, Joshua Klitschko. There's a lot of fights, man. There's a lot of. I couldn't give you 3. I really couldn't. Kudryashov versus Makabu, underrated fight. Yeah, if you could smash the like, guys, be much appreciated. Much appreciated. Yeah, I think Bryant Jennings would be better as a southpaw. Maybe. Yeah, Golovkin versus Derevianchenko, great fight. Yeah, Nakatani took him 12 rounds. There's people out there who believe Nakatani won that fight as well. I don't think so personally. I felt Teofimo edged it out, but it was a competitive fight. Yeah, Teofimo skipping the process. He thinks he's a pay-per-view star now. Yeah, he needs a few more names before he talks about that. Like, if he beat a Ryan Garcia, that's a big look because of how popular Ryan Garcia is. But, like, he needs to beat a Ryan Garcia, a Devin Haney, maybe Loma again in a rematch before he's, like, a pay-per-view fighter. And I think it will show on these pay-per-view numbers when Triller do this pay-per-view. Tio's not really ready for like pay-per-view, in my opinion, especially against that sort of opponent. To be fair, Devin's trying to get the big fights, but a lot of the other guys don't want to fight him. Well, Lomachenko said he'd fight him before the whole Linares thing was sorted, and he said, "No, I'm fighting Linares." So I'm not sure, man. But Devin Haney, yeah, Devin Haney's called out Tio, and he's called out Ryan Garcia, and those guys don't want to fight him, in my opinion. Kudryashov is the definition of clip or get clipped. Yeah, he's a glass cannon, man. He's a proper glass cannon. Like, every single one of his fucking fights is like a Western standoff, man. Whoever pulls the trigger first, man's gonna win. No doubt. They are lining up Prograis versus Tio on Triller. Yeah, that'll be an interesting fight. I think Prograis fucking knocks him out, Jonathan. I think Prograis beats him, tell you the truth. But I'd like to see it. I'll tell you what, if Teofimo took that fight, I'll give him a lot of respect. Oh yeah, I like Dimitri. John, I like Dimitri as well. He's a fun fighter. He's basically like the Russian David Price, any. He's for Russian David Price. Good old Dmitry Kudryashov. Fucking hell, we've been going for like 2.5 hours, man. Don't know where that time's gone. Man. See, this is why I wouldn't actually monetize the second channel, or I don't think it could be monetized, because I was talking about cartels for like 5 minutes in this stream, and the monetization's gone to not suitable. That's hilarious. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you could smash the like, be much appreciated. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Peace.